and then she'll stop. Yeah. So once she starts the recording, then again we'll get it.
Yeah.
So she's just making us, and then after that we can share.
Just if I share, that's enough for me.
Yeah, 1 minute. I'll just check.
Because it's only 10 minutes now. I don't want to waste organizers' time or anything like that.
Ma'am, Jyoti is co-host, so just try whether you can share the screen.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
fine.
thank you.
And Ritu ma'am, you are also co-host. I'll make you
first.
host. Yeah, I'll just make you host.
Okay, fine.
Ma'am, you are host now.
Okay.
I started sharing. Let's see. Is it coming?
Yeah. Yes, yes, we can see.
Okay, thank you. Then it's okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought once if I share,
Yeah, I don't.
then because
I'll
I'll
share screen. Good evening, madam.
Good evening, Ritu. I'm just, 1 minute, 1 minute.
Yes, yes, madam, sure. Lakshmi madam, good evening.
Good evening. माधुरी को देख के मैंने फट से ऑन किया शीज.
Please, madam could make it up. It's such a busy schedule. I mean, it's so difficult for ma'am to take out time. So
ये कब सोती है?
I know.
पैरेलल एमओजीएस का चल रहा है आरएसी प्रोग्राम।
Hello.
Good afternoon, Lakshmi Madam. Welcome.
Hello, Manisha.
Good afternoon, Dr. Ritu.
Hi.
आपको वही फोन लगा रही थी कि एक बार प्रोग्राम चेक कर लीजिए।
तो तुमको लुधियाना कितना दूर है तुम्हारे यहाँ से?
Myself, I'll go to Delhi, madam. फिर Delhi से I'll go to Ludhiana.
वही मुझे तो बहुत ही दूर था यहाँ से दिल्ली, दिल्ली से ट्रेन, तो ऐसे 3 दिन का रहा था मेरा लुधियाना के लिए।
You'll be coming on 25th, no?
नहीं मैंने ना बोला रे, 3 दिन becomes too much.
वो मैं भी ये देख रही थी, 1 day full traveling, another day traveling, and 1 day there. अभी भी 3 दिन जा रहा है।
दिल्ली से लुधियाना by train is how many hours? 10 कुछ 10 घंटा दिखा रहा था।
6 hours, madam.
अच्छा, वहाँ पर फिर भी मार्जिन रख के इधर उधर।
हाँ।
Hi Krishnendu, welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Sir, good evening, sir.
How are you? Hi, Lakshmi. Hi, Ritu.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hi.
Madam. Good evening.
Hi, Ritu.
Hi, Madhuri.
Good evening, madam.
Hi, Dr. Priya, Dr. Manisha. How are you? Ritu,
खाना खाया?
Good afternoon, Madhuri Madam. Fine.
Ritu, I know you come for 2 minutes.
Yes, madam.
I'm in the election work, no?
Right.
So I'm not coming. So she said, no, you just come for 2 minutes. I said, okay.
माधुरी, मैंने यहाँ से वर्चुअली लंच और चाय कॉफी भेज दिया तुम्हारे लिए। हाँ,
अरे बाबा, लेकिन मेरा
So
पेट
don't
नहीं
take
भरा यार।
Madhuri, please don't take the 2 minutes
Mera
very seriously, because 2 minutes it will be even will not even start in 2 minutes. So at least 10 minutes.
Okay. ठीक है? Then I can come after 10 minutes.
Yeah, we allow you to go back for another 5 minutes and then come back.
Okay.
At 6 minutes, madam.
Continue.
6 minutes. I think another few phone calls, madam. Has so many calls also.
Okay, then I will come back. Okay.
Yes, madam. We've got 5 minutes more, madam.
Okay.
Yes, madam. 5 minutes. We'll just start.
शूट करून दे ऑडियो वीडियो। हाँ,
So how are you, Lakshmi?
फाइन।
All getting set now for ICOG?
यस, अभी मैं कृष्णेंदु को फोन करूंगी ना दिमाग खाने के लिए।
Great.
मील के बाद।
Take it further, like it should go like a rocket
Yes,
in your ear.
and Krishnendu will push it as a proper.
I'm always there.
I know that.
Always.
करेंगे, कुछ बहुत अच्छा करेंगे। सोच अभी से, then I will call and discuss.
Really plan some innovative.
Seriously, I wish. I mean, कैसा करना बता करते।
Something which I could not do in my time, which I wanted to do, were those modules. Modules, for all the various kind of subjects which are common OBGYN, topics.
बता ना, I will do it.
I will sit and discuss.
थोड़ा सा उसको thought process को ये कर ले, then I will call you and we will streamline और करते हैं उसको।
Because now, as it is, subsequently, the past chairs have really taken it much forward, including Uday, and so I think everybody's tried very hard. So let's, because it's very important that ICOG, really is, we all know it, academic wing of Foxy, etc. But the main thing is we have got to get our guidelines and what we call GCPRs in place.
Yes.
Yeah, because there are a lot of old GCPRs which really need to be revised and updated, and I think that should be a very, very important focus, because all the other colleges, they keep coming out with their guidelines or GCPRs, whatever you want to call it. We are scared to call them guidelines here because it for other reasons, but I think if we have them updated, then then things really as a ready reckoner kind of a thing.
Instead of guidelines, we can think of some other word.
Yeah, we are doing it as GCPRs only, good clinical practice recommendation.
Yeah, we will do as GCPR only.
Yeah, GCPRs only. They're the safest.
They are the safest.
Yeah, like let's say the one on vaccination. It needs a lot of updation now, and it was recently. I don't know, some time ago it was updated. I'm not very sure whether it was the one recently which Anahita did or it was already done. We can always revise it because every new things are happening. No, COVID has come in again. So COVID also has to be updated in that.
I will call you. Hello, Meera madam.
Hello. Hello, Krishnendu.
Hello, namaskar, madam.
Hello,
Good afternoon.
Lakshmi. Hello,
Good afternoon, madam.
Ritu.
Good evening, madam.
Monisha. Love you all. Happy Holi.
Happy Holi, madam.
Madam, happy Holi and welcome to you all.
हमारे यहाँ कानपुर में आज रंग पंचमी होती है तो that is the last day of celebration where all the you see societies will meet and Holi Milan type it is that day. Rang Panchami. So it was a very this thing. So
Hi, Sureka.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
How are you, sir?
hello,
Dr. Sureka.
Lakshmi
Hello,
and,
hello, Dr. Kiran.
Krishnendu.
Mera ma'am.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Ritu.
Hello, Sureka ma'am.
Krishnendu
Kiran
and
ma'am, good
Lakshmi,
evening.
we are expecting a lot in the academic wing this time. I've got great hope.
Lakshmi is there. Lakshmi is going to take over ICOG.
Yes.
We are there to
Lakshmi
back her up.
I know, I know.
Namaste, Dr. Krishnendu. Namaste.
Namaskar, Kiranji. Sureka did such a wonderful program the other day. It was fantastic. Outstanding, I should say. You know,
Thank
thoda
you,
hatke,
sir.
it was like out of the box thinking.
Thank you, sir.
And it was really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed myself.
Thank you, and really they were good faculty and the
Yeah, yeah.
dialogues and all
I mean,
very
faculty
nice.
always is the one which makes a program, but then it also has to be the organization, the thought process, which you really did a great job.
Thank you so much, sir.
You,
And it
Rashmi,
was great
everyone.
to
I
have
really
you.
enjoyed.
Good evening.
Good evening, Girja.
Hi, Girija.
Hello, Girja ma'am. How
Hello,
is it
Dr.
going?
Gupta.
Hello,
Great.
Kiran. Kiran, you are still in OT, I believe.
I'm just coming out of the OT.
Hello,
Okay,
Jyoti
that's
ma'am.
it. Hello.
Dr. Shobha, Dr. Sunita, Kalpana ma'am, Sunita, Mahesh. Priya, hi. Can't see you, Priya.
All our best wishes, Sureka madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Kiran
Thank you.
madam,
Thank you.
Girja ma'am.
Thank you.
All the
Don't
best.
forget to
Dr.
vote. We all need it.
Everybody is working so hard.
So
Yes.
Namaste to everyone. Yeah, namaste.
Hi,
Namaste,
Dr.
madam.
Jyoti.
Jyoti, madam, welcome.
Anisha, all the best.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Nice meeting.
Best of luck to
Lakshmi,
everybody.
I was suggesting best
Hi,
practice
Sunita.
जैसे आता है ना clinical medicine में best practice guidelines best practice वाला that could be a
अच्छा.
thing. Guidelines will be another suggestion. बहुत सारे नाम हम लोग इसको दे सकते हैं but there must be a U-turn revision because lots of confusion after this corona. This is the best topic which you have taken, Ritu, I must say. It is one of the best topics, need of the hour and demand of the time, I tell you.
Kanchan, can we start? It's time.
Yeah, we can.
We are all ready.
Kanchan,
Yes, madam.
so we can start. You'll,
Ma'am, yes, it's 5-1.
yeah, I can
Yeah.
start. Priya, we can start then.
Yeah.
1 minute more by watch.
Should I start, ma'am?
Yeah.
Hello, Pardesi sir.
Namaskar, namaskar.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, Rajendra bhai.
Namaste, namaste, Krishnendu. Namaste, namaste.
Sir, namaskar.
Meera
Welcome.
Meera ma'am, namaste, pranam, pranam.
Rajesh, my best wishes. I'm here.
Namaste, namaste. Manisha, Sureka.
Yes, sir, namaskar.
Namaskar. Pardeshi sir.
Namaskar. Girija ma'am, namaskar.
Good evening, sir. Priya, we can start.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Ritu
yeah.
ma'am,
Start.
good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Namaste and greeting from Coal City, Chandrapur. A very good evening to one and all. Myself, Dr. Priya Shinde, OBGY consultant at Bhadravati, District Chandrapur, also the secretary of COGS and member of Foxy Food and Drug Committee. Extend my warm welcome to all of you on behalf of Foxy Food and Drug Medico-Surgical Equipment Committee to the scientific session on vaccination awareness drive for women's health. I will be the program coordinator for today's session along with Dr. Manisha Ghate madam. At the outset, I would like to, I'm the Dr. Manisha Khate Madam is my co-host today. Madam is West Zone Coordinator, Food, Drug, Medico-Surgical Equipment Committee, FOXI. She is at present Secretary of Hpv Chapter. She is the Chairperson of Women's Doctor Wing, IMA Chandrapur. Madam was the Secretary of COGS in the year of 1618. She was the Vice President of IMA Chandrapur in 19. She is a Director of Chandrapur Test Tube Baby Center. She is a Director of Santaji Mahila Nagrik Sehkari Bank, Chandrapur. Welcome, Dr. Manisha ma'am.
Thank you, Priya.
At the outset, I would like to welcome Dr. Ritu Khanna Madam, Chairperson, Food and Drug and Medico-Surgical Equipment Committee, and would like to thank her for giving us this opportunity to conduct this session. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
We are very grateful to respected President FOXI, Dr. Shanta Kumari Madam, and Secretary General FOXI, Dr. Madhuri Patel Madam, and Vice President FOXI, Dr. Bipin Pandit Sir, for giving their encouragement. We are thankful to Dr. Uday Thanawala Sir, Chairman ICOG, and Secretary ICOG, Dr. Ashok Kumar Sir, for extending their support and granting 3 ICOG credit points for this session. Under the able leadership of Dr. Ritu Khanna Madam, Madam has initiated the vaccination awareness drive for women's health across the nation. And this is the first in series with 7 C societies today. To brief about the session and to welcome the gathering, I would like to invite Chairperson, Food and Drug Committee, Dr. Ritu Khanna ma'am. Welcome you, ma'am, and floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Priya, and namaskar, and a very good evening to all of you. And it's an honor and pleasure to welcome each one of you for being here on this virtual scientific session of FOXI Food and Drug Medico-Surgical Equipment Committee Vaccination Awareness Drive for Women's Health. Thank you so much to our dynamic President, Dr. Shanta Kumari Madam, Dr. Madhuri Patel Ma'am, Dr. Bipin Pandit Sir, for inspiring us to start this awareness campaign, Immunization, a strong move towards women's health. It was on the 10th of November that we organized the FOXI Vaccination Day under the able guidance of our President, Dr. Shanta Kumari Madam, Dr. Madhuri Ma'am, Dr. Bipin Pandit Sir, and Dr. Basab. And this inspired us to frame a ready reckoner for vaccination in pregnancy for every FOXian's desk and a booklet on the frequently asked questions on vaccination in women, which was in coordination with the chairperson of the Clinical Research Committee. My very vibrant committee members, eager to launch this campaign with the permission of our President, Dr. Shanta Kumari Madam, and also Secretary General, Dr. Madhuri Patel Ma'am, our Vice President, Dr. Bipin Pandit Sir, and the coordinator for this awareness program, Dr. Ranjendra Singh Padesi Sir. We are all here today to flag off this program and take it to all the societies of FOXI as vaccination awareness drive for women's health. And we are fortunate to have a galaxy of legends as our chief guest, Dr. Christina Gupta Sir, a special guest, Dr. Meera Agnihotri Madam, and the guest of honor, Dr. Rajendra Singh Padesi Sir, Dr. Lakshmi Shirikhande Ma'am, and Dr. MC Patel Sir, to bless us on this day is a moment of pride and privilege for us. Their presence is a proof enough of the love, the support, and the encouragement towards us, and we are really deeply humbled and honored. I'm also thankful to my coordinators, Manisha and Priya, who worked so hard to make this event possible. And also the chairman of ICOG, Dr. Uday Thanewale Sir and Ashok Kumar Sir, for giving us the ICOG points. And I'm sure that the session will not only be a learning one, but also bring a lot of clarity to our confusions and bring a uniformity towards vaccination among all FOXians. So over to Priya. Priya, you're muted, please. I just,
Thank you, ma'am.
The lamp lighting.
Yeah, may I request now to join us for
Priya, can we have the President's video?
Yes.
As the blessings and the vision of our President, we have the President's theme video.
Dear friends, Foxians and women of my country, I am Dr. Shanta Kumari, President of the Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecological Societies of India. As a little girl, I told myself that I have to become something to make a difference. I always believed that if I desired something wholeheartedly, there is a positive force which makes it happen. And here I am, friends, standing in front of you as the 60th President of FOXI, the 38,000 strong committed body of OB-GYNs taking care of women's health in our country. As a young girl, I realized that women play a key role in this world, just like Mother Nature or Stree Shakti as we revere it. It is a guiding force behind all forms of God's creation. And it's only a woman who can actually create a new life.
Hi, I'm Kareena Kapoor Khan and I'm so happy to be here with you, if only on video. Pregnancy is a beautiful experience and I have loved having my babies. I congratulate Dr. Shanta Kumari as taking over the 60th president of this eminent organization.
Stree Shakti is the embodiment of 5 elements: the sky, the air, the water, the earth and the fire. Any imbalance in any of these 5 elements creates chaos and calamities. Similarly, when a woman's health is neglected, it disrupts the universal equilibrium. The intimate link between environment and human well-being is very well known. With increasing awareness of the need for clean water, pollution-free air and pesticide-free food.
Hi, I'm Hpv Sindhu. Well, it's such a beautiful feeling for me to be an empowered girl, to be a girl in a nurtured and a safe environment.
Protecting health by preserving nature and its ecosystem is easier than curing any disease. So we have taken up the concept of minimizing the female morbidity and mortality and fetal effects by mitigating the adverse impact of environment. My theme this year goes beyond FOXI's commitment towards women's healthcare. FOXI for all, always.
FOXI for All is another inspiring campaign. What you do in this organization impacts the lives of all of us women in India.
And Dheera to stop violence against women. FOXI for all, always will strive to make the girl a Sahasi with Swachhata, Samruddhi and Swasthya. To be Surakshit with Shakti to reach her full potential as a woman.
Dr. Shanta Kumari with the theme FOXI for all always and Dheera Stop Violence Against Women will empower many girls. I firmly believe that only a safe girl, Surakshit Kanya, can grow into a healthy woman, Swasth Mahila.
Violence against women. I think it's a silent pandemic and I'm so happy to be a part of this campaign.
If any woman has a problem, where does she go to? Not to the police or court or the lawyers. She goes to her friendly OB-GYN, who is her first point of contact for help. So I have started Dheera, an initiative close to my heart, to sensitize our OB-GYNs, the police, the public, and to partner with men to say no to violence against women.
I completely support her vision and mission as President FOXI and also especially support her campaign, Dheera Stop Violence Against Women.
A healthy environment is the core of a woman's health. A healthy woman makes a family happy and a strong nation. I, as the President of FOXI, declare my commitment towards women's health and safety.
Thank you, madam. This madam has joined.
No, Priya, madam would be joining at 5:30. She's into a meeting. So Madhuri madam would be there and we can invite Priya.
Okay. So now I invite my co-host, Dr. Manisha Ghate madam, to invite our FOXI Secretary General, Dr. Madhuri Patel ma'am. Over to you, Dr. Manisha.
Thank you, Priya. It gives me immense pleasure to invite our Secretary General of FOXI, Dr. Mrs. Madhuri Patel Madam. She is the Secretary General of FOXI and Joint Secretary of FOXI in 2009, former committee member FIGO for preterm birth, Associate Editor, Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Honorable Clinical Associate at Wadia Hospital and consultant at Police Hospital Mumbai. She is the visiting consultant and many more in her. I request Madam and invite her for her blessings and words of wisdom. Madhuri Patel Madam, please take over.
Manisha is Kanchan is just connecting, Madam, to us.
Okay, okay. Yes, okay.
Shop stay. Yeah, she's there. Welcome, Madhuri Madam. Welcome. And we are waiting your blessings to flag off this program, Madam.
Thank you, Ritu, for giving me this opportunity. And of course, Dr. Shanta Kumari, our President and Vice President in charge, Dr. Bipin Pandit, right?
Yes.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Respected Madam Meera Agnihotri, Dr. Christina Gupta, Dr. Rajendra Singh Persesi, Dr. Lakshmi Shekhar, I can see, Dr. Kiran, Dr. Surekha Taide, Dr. Jyoti, Dr. Manisha, Dr. Priya, Dr. Girija, I can see many people, MC Patel sir and everybody. Very good evening to all of you. And, I'm really, Ritu told me I'm just busy with the election work, I had to, many queries. So Ritu said, Madam, please come for 2 minutes. I said, I will definitely come for this program. Today's program is, vaccination awareness, drive is an excellent program. And we all have seen, that during antenatal care and the preconception care, when we give the vaccination, our, our newborns and all are, really, benefited. And in a COVID era also, we have seen that we all have taken, 2 doses with the precaution dose, and we are how much protected. I know we have been started moving physically everywhere, and we are not worried about this. So the vaccination plays very, very important part, in our life. And of course, for the newborn, it is definitely, it has really decreased the perinatal mortality and morbidity. So for this, this is the most apt, drive which I feel that, we should, all the gynecologists should know what are the antenatal, vaccination should be given. And, all the gynecologists, because see, now we know that tetanus we used to give, during antenatal beta, but now it is the Tdap or TD we are giving. So all the obstetricians should be aware about this updation. So it is a very good drive, and I wish all the best to all of you. And thank you once again for giving me this opportunity. And one more thing I would like to mention, that the elections are going on, and I don't want to say many things about it, but only one thing, that people who have not received their link, please write to us, email us, or we have given the guidance, and we are also sending SMS every day. So please write to us if you have not received the link, because there are many reasons why you have not received the link. One is that your email and the mobile, data which we have asked you verify, they have not verified. Secondly, you have not paid a subscription for the last year, which we wanted to receive before 30th April 2021. And, I'm really surprised that, there are teachers like 45 years and all, and they are coming into B category. So the reason is B category because they're a professional, I mean, the postgraduate certification is not there with the FOXI office. Why? Because in between they take a gap. They don't pay the subscription. FOXI is a yearly subscription. So you may be member of your local society for 40 years, 45 years. But if the subscription has not come, then, it becomes next year it becomes a new member. And if we don't have qualification proof, we are again going to be category. So, I have received so many emails, I am really difficult to answer for them. And they are also very surprised, So I want, please upgrade, not this time if you are in B category, please next year you upgrade yourself. So we have all the correct data in. So Madam Meera Agnihotri, thank you very much. And all my Christina Gupta, all my good friends. And Ritu, best luck for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you for your
so much.
blessings and giving us such a precious moment of yours. And that was really wanted. So thank you so much, madam, once again. Thank you.
Take your leave.
Yeah. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Priya, I think Dr. Vipin Pandit sir is also in the meeting. So we'll continue further and I'll take this privilege. It's always a privilege for me to invite the chief guest for today, a stalwart, a teacher par excellence, very innovative and an inspiring personality. And that's Dr. Christina Gupta sir. He's a professor and unit head, Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Vivekanand Institute of Medical Sciences, Kolkata, member of FIGO Committee of Climate Change and Toxic Environment Exposure 21-23, the FOXY representative to the Asia and Ocean Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecology 2022, the chairperson, Sexual and Reproductive Health Committee, Acog 1922. He's also been the president of Bengal Obstetrics and Gynecological Society 2013, the president Indian Society of Perinatology and Reproductive Biology Kolkata chapter from 15 to 19, and I may say a whole list of honors and awards to his credit, along with being the national corresponding editor for Jogi and 21-22, the member editorial board, and so many more publications, orations, and we always love to listen to you, sir. So over to you, sir, for your blessings.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ritu, for doing me this honor. I feel even more humbled that I'm in front of one of our living legends of obstetrics and gynecology, Professor Meera Agnihotri ji. And it's always a pleasure to listen to her. I wish I can continue having this kind of enthusiasm that she has even at this, at this age. She's ever young, according to me. Of course, thanks to Shanta and Dr. Madhuri Patel, and of course, the entire office bearers of FOGSI, Dr. Vipin Pandit, and all of you here, including, I see Dr. Lakshmi, so many of my dear friends. The topic chosen, I think it's very apt. And I think prior to going online, we were just discussing, COVID has taught us so much, and COVID has ruined lives. I think not a single member of anyone we know has not suffered because of COVID, but COVID has opened up the vistas of, being pro-vaccination. And I think the entire nation is now become pro-vaccination thanks to COVID. And that is going to actually translate into vaccination in women and during pregnancy. And I think that is where now we should really try to cash in and go full force, like what Dr. Ritu is doing, along with 7 wonderful societies. And I'm sure she's going to extend it to all the societies of FOGSI. And I'm sure this is going to be a huge success, Ritu, and all my best wishes to you. And I'm really, we can go on and on talking about vaccination, but frankly speaking, I'm very keen to hear Professor Meera Agnihotri, what she's going to say about it with her vast experience. So I would wish all of you the very best, all my dear friends here, Girija, Rajendra, so many are there, MC sir, and all of you, just all the very best for this wonderful program. And of course, Lakshmi, our incoming chair of ICOG, which is going to give a fantastic year, I'm sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your loving words of inspiration, always encouraging, and we keep moving ahead all because of this. Thank you so much, sir. Over to you, Priya.
Thank you, sir. It's my proud privilege and honor to invite special guest for the today's session, Dr. Meera Agnihotri, madam. Next CV, please. As Dr. Gupta said, madam is ever enthusiastic senior ma'am. It's proud privilege really to introduce ma'am. Madam is professor and head OBGY Department of GSVM Medical College, Kanpur. Madam is a chairman of Ethics and Research State Medical College, president of WWW Foundation. Madam is the advisor Women Health Cell Ministry of Health Government of India. Madam, ICOG Ratna Saman and Golden Plaque of 63rd AICOG 2020. Madam has many awards to her credit. Madam has organized many conferences. I want to list one. Madam has received Nari Shakti Samman by state government and Narayani Samman. Madam has many books to her credit. I welcome you, ma'am, and over to you, ma'am, for your blessings. All are waiting for that. Madam, you are muted.
Thank you very much, Priya, for your lovely introduction. I extend my heartfelt gratitude, love, and blessings to Ritu, Foxy Food, Drug, and Medical Surgical Equipment Committee, who has really chosen 7 societies, which I think will be going to produce 7 wonders in future. With all these societies, and one very important thing, is really an honor to share the dais with Christina Gupta, with whom I have been there in very many meetings, conferences, 2G meets, and this and that. I know that he is very knowledgeable, learned, humble, and a very good companion. You always enjoy his company as regards the academic gestures are involved. Dr. Rajendra Pardesi, Lakshmi Srikhande, and Dr. M.C. Patel. The wonderful speakers for today are Dr. Girja Vag, Jyoti, Kalpana, Manisha, Surekha, and Sunita. The chairperson chosen, I can just tell in one word, my dear Ritu, that the subject which you have chosen is a wonderful subject, which is the need of hour and demand of the time. Why? Because not only the Foxians, but very many practitioners all over the country, whether they are physicians or the surgeons or PMS workers, where these patients are going. Let me just, एक मीटिंग में हूं मैं, अभी बात करूंगी आपसे, हैं? Okay. So the rules and regulations keep on changing, methods keep on changing, and as Krishnendu has very correctly told, Corona has made us understand that what is the role of prevention. We have been teaching right from undergraduate, postgraduate, and DNB students, prevention is better than cure. But today, standing at this platform, with whatever we have done in Corona, whatever we have learned in Corona, will give message that prevention is better than cure. I'm happy that our society, the Foxy statement, along with the 3 associations which we were leading to the Government of India, when Foxy statement was being discussed in the Government of India, they were constantly telling that it should be considered, it should not be considered, it is not there, it should not be given. And all of you know that for very many months, this went on and we were not able to control it. But our 13 association, collaborative association, which included Narendra and so many other persons, we approached, and I'm very grateful to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences and Government of India, and also our Foxy statement, which collaborated and have come out at the first for lactating mothers, but we kept on fighting till they have declared, yes, it can be given to the pregnant mothers also. And it was very difficult in the beginning for us to teach that it can be given in the first trimester also, it can be given in the second trimester. Anyhow, now we have succeeded, we have come to a conclusion, and our Foxy has taken every step to make it clear that it should be given to the pregnant and the lactating mothers. Krishnendu and Lakshmi, I'm very sure that you are going to, at the level of the ICOG, with the leadership of Shanta and Madhuri and Vipin, we will be able to conclude some guidelines or whatever form you give it, so that it can be put to the desk of each and every obstetrician and gynecologist and clinician even, so that they may know that it has to be given, that the patient may not come directly to us, they may go. Lastly, one more thing, HPV vaccines, now we understand we are not putting it as a sexual this thing, but we know that it is being given to the boys also in the foreign countries. Anyhow, we have to hide it so we can start it giving to our younger girls, telling that what is its role. I will not go into the detail. We have got learned, you see, presenters, speakers for this, and wonderful chairpersons. And today we are very sure that while we are going back, we will be very much enriched with the crystal clear guidelines for vaccination in obstetrics and gynecology. Thank you very much. I am really grateful for Shanta and everybody for making me a part of it. Ritu, I know that after arranging that conference in Varanasi, you can do anything. And if you are after Lakshmi and Krishnendu and Shanta Kumari, you will definitely come out with flying colors as regard the vaccination, GPR guidelines or whatever form you give it. But this book must be there on the desk of each and every clinician, including we obstetrician and gynecologist. Thank you very much once again. And I can see that Dr. Patel is there, Krishnendu is there, Manisha is there, Lakshmi is there, Rajendra is there, Girja, Kiran Pandey. Thank you very much for making me a part of it. I am really obliged and I feel so blessed to be with you. I just don't feel like leaving it, but please permit me to leave after. I will be there for 1 hour. Thank you, Ritu. Everything is possible if Ritu is there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much for gracing the occasion, for your valuable time, madam, and for all the blessings. Thank you, ma'am. Now, to proceed further, we have 3 dynamic personalities as guest of honor, and I would like to invite my co-host to invite the guest of honors.
Priya, just keep it. We are lagging behind schedule.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Respected Chief Guest, Dr. Krishnendu, and special guest, Pranam Madam, Dr. Meera Agniotri, and guest of honor, Dr. Lakshmi Sikande, Dr. M.C. Patel, sir. Congratulations to Dr. Ritu Khanna for organizing such a practical webinar on vaccination awareness, drive for women's health. I am feeling proud of her, as she is really doing excellent work as chairperson of Food and Drugs Committee, FOXI, and which committee is close to my heart, as I was chairperson of this committee in 2012 to 14. So, congratulations to Sagar, Chandrapur, Jamnagar, Anand, Bhandara, Bilaspur, and Devli Sangeet Society for participating actively in this drive. I think not webinar, but it's a drive. We wish to see Dr. Girija Wag as Vice President FOXI in these elections. My sincere wishes to Dr. Girija Wag and also to Dr. Sureka Taide for her election as Chairperson of Clinical Research Committee FOXI, and to Manisha Gate for her election as Chairperson of No Violence Against Women Committee FOXI, and to Dr. Kiran Pandey also for Medical Education Committee. I don't want to be in between you and scientific content. I wish every success to this webinar. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for all the inspirations, and you give a start to this program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next slide, please. Next. Yes. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our own Dr. Lakshmi Srikhande Madam. Madam is Chairperson-elect of ICOG. She is the National Correspondent Editor General of OBGY of Indian Yogi. She is the Chairperson of IMS Education Committee 21-23. She has been the Vice President of FOXI in 2012, President of Menopause Society, Nagpur. She has received many awards like Mehru Dara Hansutia Best Committee Award for her work. Then also Nagpur Ratan Award at the hands of Union Minister Shri Nitinji Gadkari. She has also been the president of Nagpur OBGYN Society, delivered 11 orations, publications, and has sensitized 2 lakh boys and girls on adolescent health issue. With this, I welcome Madam for her words of wisdom. Lakshmi Srikhande Madam, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Manisha, for your kind introduction. Good evening, respected teachers, seniors, and dear friends. Ritu, thank you so much for making me part of this wonderful webinar. And I'm feeling humbled to share dais with respected Meera Madam, MC Patel sir, Krishnendu, who is always there, just a phone call away for any kind of guidance I need, and he's always there. Thank you, Krishnendu, and Dr. Rajendra Singh Pardesi. I'm so happy that your committee is doing commendable work, and today societies from Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Bilaspur has joined hands, because till now we used to think that when we talk of vaccination, it is the pediatrician's domain, because they are responsible for doing the vaccination as per the ICMR guidelines. But thanks to you, now you are bringing it to OBGYN domain. You are sensitizing our own colleagues that they also have to think of vaccination in women. As Meera Madam said, HPV when she is not pregnant, and once she becomes pregnant, it is the obstetrician colleagues who should know what are the recent updates as far as vaccination in pregnancy is concerned. All said and done, HPV vaccination also needs a lot to be done as far as sensitization of our own members are concerned. And in pregnancy, yes, it takes care of the infection of the mother as well as of the next generation. So when I was searching the Google, it was showing only COVID vaccination. But I'm so happy that Government of India has made it very clear that all pregnant and lactating women can take COVID vaccination, so that you are not talking COVID vaccination in this webinar and you are covering all other vaccines. That is also a great thing. And as Dr. Rajendra has said, your committee is really doing commendable work. Keep doing it. And as Dr. Krishnendu has said, yes, Krishnendu, we will definitely work on it, and we will come out with the GCPR for the benefit of our own members, and those GCPR should act as a ready reckoner. So I will call you, Meera Madam, Krishnendu, MC Patel sir, Rajendra, everyone. I will take your guidance, and during my tenure as ICOG chairperson, we will definitely work on it to come out with GCPR on common subjects at least. Because in 1 year, we can't have so many GCPRs, but at least the topics which are very common, we should have GCPRs during my tenure. So thank you so much, Ritu, once again, and I wish you all the very best for the success of today's program. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am, for all the inspiration. Manisha, we have Shanta Madam with us, and she is especially there to bless us. Yeah, so I'll just take just a few seconds. We have a president who's always an inspiration. Shanta Kumari Madam, a legendary figure. I must say a true leader, very inspiring and visionary is our president, and who always keeps encouraging us. Madam is the senior consultant, OBGYN and laparoscopic surgeon at Yashodhara Hospital, Hyderabad. FIGO member for Committee for Human Rights, Refugees and Violence Against Women, Chairperson FOXI ICOG 2018, Secretary ICOG 15-17, initiated the DHERA 2016, a socio-medical campaign to eliminate violence against women. And that's going wonderfully well. And we are all into it, and we will take it across all over India also. 2020 OGSH Lifetime Achievement Award, 2021 Vox Dr. Ganatra Charitable Medical Center Award, the Pride of Foxy Award, and we know that Madam is a pride for us.
Ritu, can we stop this?
Yes, Madam. So thank you so much, Madam, for giving us your time and your blessings to us.
Good evening, everyone. I see my senior Dr. Meera Agniotri Madam and Krishnendu Gupta sir, Pardesi sir, and of course Ritu Khanna and others who are here, Lakshmi, Girija,
Yes, I can see that this is the work you've been doing is very good, Ritu. And vaccinations is so very important. And when we talk about vaccinations, immediately we remember one person, that is Christina Gupta. Okay, in Hyderabad, every time, year after year, whenever we do the conferences or something, the vaccine man is our Krishnendu sir. So that is how we actually call him. I think it's so very important that we need to talk about vaccines when we are trying to address any issue when you're talking about prevention. I think this is the best time where we as an organization who cares for women's health, as a voice of women's health in the country, I think this is the right time where we can actually talk about vaccination when the whole country is aware of the effect of vaccination, why we need to get vaccines and all. So time is very correct for us to actually talk about cervical cancer prevention, the Hpv vaccination, or talk about the hepatitis B elimination, hepatitis vaccination, or any other vaccination which is needed for women's health. I think good to see good work being rolled out. I'm sure that all the work done by everyone will definitely take us to a goal of reaching the optimal health for women's care. So it's nice to see so many people. I can see Dr. MC and Dr. Pardesi sir also, and Sureka Thaide. And yes, Ritu, we're talking about violence against women. Yes, no to violence against women is something very close to my heart this year, the Foxy for All Always and Dira Stop Violence Against Women. And actually, if you, for you all to know, it was when Krishnendu sir was part of the ICOG chairman and I was the FIGO working group member on No to Violence Against Women. This was a time where we initiated Dhira at Hyderabad. I had my core team with me. I had Dr. Vindhya, Dr. Kiranmai, Dr. Aruna Suman, and all of us. So we're all there. Dr. Krishnendu sir and Dr. Alka Piplani was there with us. And that was a time where we made it very, very clear that that was our advocacy, you know. It is like to emphasize that we care for our women, you know. We need not think that if I am a gynecologist obstetrician, I need to know only about cesarean section or hysterectomy, laparoscopy, infertility. I think preventive care is very important. And unless you address this violence against women, we will not be able to even achieve the SDG goals. That is the reason why this Dhira initiative is something which is to be percolated to every obstetrician gynecologist so we can reach out to all the women across our country. We have taken this globally also. And the COVID pandemic has shown that the violence, which is a silent pandemic, has to be addressed at every level. So let's hope that we all together can try to reduce the burden, or even if we cannot eliminate it. So the more we talk about it, more we can actually intimidate the person who's doing the crime. So at least, you know, they will be conscious, and if they have a conscience that, okay, this is not right what I'm doing. So, you know, that sort of an change we need to bring about in people, anything. So everybody needs to answer their own conscience. Whether, am I doing this right? I think if we can do that, I think we would have achieved. And this online school certification program is with the UNICEF India. The main idea is to reach the young mind so that they all grow up to say no to violence against women. All of you are leaders in your own places. I'm sure that you'll be able to reach out to as many schools as possible so you can take across this message. I can see Dr. Kiran Pandey. I'm looking forward for you to take this across in Kanpur. And of course, Rekha is there in the very much a part of our team.
Yes, Dr. Shanta.
Every one of you, if you can contact even one school at a time, then we would have actually made a big difference. We are 38,000 plus members. Imagine what a difference. Then we won't have schools, and automatically the government, the Ministry of Education will be forced to make it a compulsory curriculum for the school children. Thank you very much, and please continue with your wonderful deliberations, academic deliberations on this topic today. Thank you, Ritu.
Thank you so much, madam, for inspiring us. And it was your project on 10th of November from where we carried it, and we'll keep carrying it on, madam. Thank you so much.
And I've heard Lakshmi promise that she will take it forward as the chairperson of ICOG.
Yes, with Dr. Krishnendu.
Yes.
Vaccine man.
The vaccine man. Like the pad man, we have our vaccine man. One more is Anaita is also vaccine girl. So these are the two favorites of all the vaccination talks in our Foxy conferences in Hyderabad.
Yes.
Whenever we are putting the program vaccination talk, immediately we strike, okay, Anaita or Krishnendu. And Kiranmai and Aruna, when we're putting, okay, any medical legal, we'll remember MC Patel. So I think that's how we will correlate people with the talks. And now actually too, it should go to an extent, you should do so much work in vaccinations and all for our women in the country. Automatically, you know, whenever anybody is talking about vaccination or any part of the world, immediately they should say, oh, it is Ritu Khanna. So that should be the amount of work where you should do for our women.
My best of efforts I'll put in, madam.
Yes.
And it's yourself who took this program and it struck my mind to take it across, madam. Thank you so much, madam. Thank you. Over to Manisha, please.
Thank you, madam, for your words of wisdom. Yes. It is my honor to welcome Dr. MC Patel, sir. Sir is consultant obstetrician and gynecologist and medical legal counselor. Sir has been vice president of Foxy in 2018, organizing secretary of AICOG in 2017, and chairperson of Ethics and Medical Legal Committee Foxy in 2011.
Because
Sir,
already
yes, sir, we are waiting
more than
for
45
your,
days have been passed since
yes,
this
sir.
program, and I will not name each and every stalwart present on virtual platform of this program, and straightway congratulating Ritu Khanna for nicely designing this program of vaccination. And as we know, by 2030, we have to go for elimination of cervical cancer from India. So cervical cancer Mukt Bharat. So that is why naturally Hpv vaccine is very important thing. And same way, just mentioned by Lakshmi also, during COVID vaccination, during pregnancy and lactation, due to advocacy of Foxy, government has already included. And few of the friends dealing with these COVID cases, yesterday only they were talking, the person who had been vaccinated with influenza vaccine, they had a very low virulence of COVID infection during this era of COVID, and they had not much bed occupancy or oxygen requirement or ventilatory support also. So that way also vaccination is very much important. And other vaccine, Tdap or any other rubella or so, and so many vaccines. So you have very nicely picked up this topic, and I am observing, since you have taken up this committee, Food and Drugs and Medical Surgical Equipment Committee, as a chairperson, you are very meticulously planning your activity related to this committee and doing marvelous work. So congratulating again, Ritu, and thank you for inviting me to share this stage with so many legends of Foxy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Over to Dr. Priya.
Thank you so much, MC Patel, sir, for being here with us.
Welcome.
In spite of your such a busy schedule, sir. Thank you so much.
Dr. Priya.
Yes, ma'am. Let's now move to the scientific session. Okay. For the first session, I would like to invite and introduce the chairpersons. Our first chairperson is Professor Kiran Pandey, madam. Madam is previous one, yes. Madam is from the department. Madam is from Kanpur. Madam is ICOG Governing Council member. She's the president of Kanpur Menopause Society. Madam is chairperson of IMA WTW. And she's a vice president of UPCOG and UPIGOI. Madam has the vast experience of more than 36 years of teaching experience, and Madam has many awards to her credit. I think Madam is contesting for Medical Education Committee. We wish all the good luck to the Madam.
Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Priya.
Moving to the second chairperson. Yeah. Professor Sangeeta Jogi, Madam. Madam is from Bilaspur. Madam is a certified master training specialist for many of the courses. Madam is the president of Bilaspur OBGY Society. And Madam is very active in community services. Madam has received Best President Award for Pradhan Mantri Matritva Suraksha Yojana and Nari Swastha Award in All India Conference. I welcome you, ma'am. Our next chairperson is Dr. Nidhi Mishra. Madam is a consultant, laparoscopic surgeon and sonologist in Seva Hospital, Sagar. She is the president of Sagar OBGY Society. She has received 2 gold medals in paper presentation in state conferences, and she has special interest in infertility and high-risk pregnancy. I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Doctor.
Our first talk is on impact of vaccination in today's scenario, and I would like to request Dr. Kiran Pandey, madam, to introduce our guest speaker. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Priya. And at the outset, I'm very thankful to Dr. Ritu Khanna for giving me this opportunity to share this platform, wonderful program which is being organized. My congratulations to her. My humble regards to Dr. Shanta Kumari, Dr. Madhuri, Dr. Bipin Pandit, Dr. Krishnendu, Dr. Meera Agnihotri, Dr. Rajendra Pardesi, Dr. Lakshmi and Dr. Patel for taking up being here with us. And so many societies are there: Sagar, Chandrapur, Jamnanagar, Anand, Bandara, Bilaspur, and Deoli. So all these societies are welcome. It's such a good initiative we have taken. And it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Girja Wagh, such an old, good friend of us. And she is a well-known person who doesn't, in fact, actually need much to introduction. She has a protocol. I would like to let everybody know that she's a professor in the Department of OBGY, Bharati Vidyapeeth, Pune. She's a senior consultant at Cloud9 and Apollo Hospital, faculty professor at Ugash International Experts, chairman medical disorder and pregnancy in 2012 to 16. She was vice president, India chapter Gestosis, member governing council member ICOG, joint national secretary, assistant coordinator, national eclampsia registry. So many posts she has already hold. Member central supervisory board PCPNDT Act, national member Laksh MOHFW, peer reviewer Jogi, BJOG, EJOG, course director study OBGY and Anandibai Joshi Award for Excellence in Medical Services. I know this is a very, very short CV of her. She has a list of achievements and awards at her credit. And today she's going to talk about another impact of vaccination, a beautiful subject which Dr. Ritu has selected, and the initiative of our respected, dynamic, energetic President Dr. Shanta Kumari. So vaccination, so much has been already talked about. We all know its importance. We all know its impact actually, which has happened in the last 2-3 years. The most impactful years of our life, probably. So I invite Dr. Girja Wagh to deliver her talk on the impact, and wish her all the best of luck for our next endeavor. So Dr. Girja.
Thank you so much for the very kind introduction. And as has been instructed to me by the organizers, even if my slide set looks bigger, don't get worried. I'm not going to speak all that because you have such a wonderful program planned by Ritu Khanna and her team. And I really, really want to congratulate you for bringing up this topic, which has been extremely close to my heart for a long, long period of time, on vaccination in women. And today my task is to speak on the impact. And it's always been the vision of Dr. Shanta Kumari, supported by Dr. Madhuri Patel, and Bipin Pandit has always been a big brother to guide us. And Ritu, I'm very proud of you. Thank you, Dr. Krishnendu Gupta, for bringing us the vision of vaccination, and Meera Agnihotri, madam. I think all of us have to learn from madam that you have to keep on looking at change and adapting it in your day-to-day practice. Dr. Rajendra Singh Pardeshi, Lakshmi Shrikhande, and Dr. MC Patel. These are my icons in the Foxy who have always been there to guide me. And I must definitely mention the youngsters, Dr. Manisha Ghate, Kalpana Gulwade, and our very, very beautiful convener, Dr. Priya from Chandrapur here today. So we all know that vaccination is very important, especially in women, because there is a rise of vaccine preventable diseases, and COVID-19, as Lakshmi Madam said, currently is stopping. For women, we have an opportunity because these are potential mothers, parturients, and vaccines can sometimes be a worrisome problem because there's a lot of misconceptions about it. And when I'm talking about it, I must reiterate and say that for the past nearly 20 years, I have been offering vaccination to all women in all walks of my practices. Because we've been always believing that only babies get shots, but it's not so. We have to start looking at adult vaccination, and our today's context is the women's vaccination. And there are a lot of things in the armamentarium that we have, from the flu to the COVID to many more, which will definitely impact the outcome of the community. So if you offer vaccination before, during, and after pregnancy, it will help protect women from serious illnesses. It can also help in improving the women's health in general. It can prevent fetal abnormalities, neonatal adverse outcomes. It's an important preventable measure which could be adopted rationally by preventing miscarriages, preterm births, growth restrictions, and especially HPV. When we are talking about it in the context of cancer cervix prevention, we should also start looking at it as, especially in women with infertility and preterm births, where it can be used as a preventable. Now, if you look at this very busy slide, what it tries to tell us, if you look at various countries from Bangladesh to Timor-Leste, and India is standing in the middle somewhere here, and you can see that there is such a high number of birth defects in Indian women. And one of the ways in preventing this would be vaccinating them before they embark upon pregnancy. And this is not only related to giving them folic acid supplementations, but planning pregnancy, where you will be able to give them MMR vaccinations, which will help in preventing heart disease, deafness, and NTDs, would really go a long way. And you can see that immunization status of women in the reproductive age definitely has been identified to be an influencer. Ideally, all women should be up to date with their vaccination before they become pregnant. It is known that approximately 50% of all pregnancies are unplanned. It is important to keep women of reproductive age up to date with these programs, because if you look at, a lot of focus has been given on rubella, because we found that rubella is associated with deafness, dumbness, and so many other things. But friends, do not relegate and do not underestimate the measles and mumps. We all know that measles, mumps are also affecting the ovarian health and the fertility potential of women, and they are responsible for miscarriages in the first half of the pregnancy. And cancer cervix, we are going to have one dedicated lecture, but I'll not rate it on that component. But I definitely want to tell you that HPV infections in the vagina, called viral pressures, which can give rise to occurrence of secondary infections, bacterial infections, predisposing to these women to miscarriages, proms, and preterm births. And therefore, it's very important that we look at this vaccination with a lot of promise. Varicella, we all know, has a whole lot of affection to the mother as well as the baby. And this is one little shot which you can give to the woman just because she gets into pregnancy, and that can help. One more challenge during pregnancy, especially in the first trimester, we all know, is hyperthermia. If women have high-grade fever in the first trimester, that hyperthermia itself can cause neonatal afflictions. And therefore, we should try and prevent all those vaccine-preventable diseases as much as we can. And we should also target our attention to the adolescent girls. And preconceptional counseling time. And I remember Dr. Shanta Kumari inviting me for one of these big conferences of hers, where she said, Girija, I just want you to, it was an infertility conference, I want you to come and speak about preconceptional counseling before pregnancy planning. And friends, we have a vaccination GCPR done in Foxy, which is on our website, where you can refer and you can see that the Foxy recommends giving rubella, hepatitis B, varicella, measles, mumps to all women embarking upon pregnancy. because it was found in this study in Vellore that congenital rubella constituted to about 10% of children born with these abnormalities, and therefore we must recommend vaccinations. During pregnancy, we have been giving the tetanus toxoid with a very famous outcome, but we can extend to giving hepatitis B if the woman has already not taken. And now even we can very, very confidently give the COVID vaccination. Especially in the third trimester, we can consider to time the TT injection along with diphtheria and acellular pertussis, because we can see that the diphtheria is on the rise and that can cause a whole lot of impact on the fetal neonatal outcome. And therefore, we have to be looking at the position statements, be very liberal in giving flu vaccination during pregnancy, because the 2009, 2012, all pandemics have shown that pregnant women then land up in HDUs or ICUs because of complications, and you must help them. Postnatal vaccination is also important. If the woman has missed a bus during pregnancy, give it to her after birth of a baby. And not only up to date her with vaccination, you can consider giving vaccination to the entire family, siblings, the caretakers, the old people. In my practice, I have the entire grandma also coming to me for vaccinations for the cocooning effect. And every woman who is in a perimenopausal age group also requires to be vaccinated. Now, COVID has opened our eyes, even if the vaccine is not tested, even if the vaccine has been just manufactured, but if you really, really promote it, the community takes it. What does that tell us? That tells us that there's a huge felt need, which we as OBGYN specialists have not been able to reach. And therefore, it is our bound duty to go there and recommend vaccination to all women in all walks of life. There are various recommendations which have supported the various vaccines of COVID, and we should give it fearlessly. Now, I'll not go into the details of COVID vaccination. What I just wanted to say was COVID is known to affect a little amount of perinatal health and the woman's health, and therefore we need to protect our women against this vaccination. And even if the woman is menstruating or not menstruating, you can still give it safely. What is very important is maintain cold chains. You have to keep the vaccine in a proper cold chain in your refrigerator at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. And you have to ensure that this cold chain is well maintained. And remember that all these infections are notifiable diseases. You have to notify. What is important? Who causes impact on the community? Friends, you and me. It was found that 84% of the parents indicated that a doctor was the one who motivated them to take this vaccine. And while Madam Meera Agnihotri was talking about vaccinations in men, I must tell you that I have 2 sons and both of my sons are completely up to date with entire adult vaccination, including the HPV vaccination. With this, I conclude my talk and thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I hope, Ritu, I could deliver what you are expecting me to do. And please remember my name. I'm Dr. Girija Wagh. I'm contesting for the post of Vice President Foxy from the West Zone. But even if I'm from the West Zone, the entire country has to vote for me to help me COVID this post and help continue to serve Foxy and to serve the fraternity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Girija, that you have supported this statement that your sons have already received this vaccination. It speaks volumes about what we are advocating. Thank you, Girija. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Girija, madam. It's a treat to listen to you always.
Thank you, Priya.
May I request now our chairperson, Dr. Kiran Pandey, madam, to give her comments.
Dr. Priya, Dr. Girija, as always, she has given a beautiful talk and in a very crisp manner in such a short time, which must have been given to her. She has told the gist, total gist, and the importance of vaccination, which is actually required. Many a times, it's very correct that the COVID has actually made the public realize, and you all remember it, even in COVID times, there was an initial many hitches. People were not going, this will happen, that will happen. But gradually they realized the severity and of the disease and then realized the importance of vaccination. As Dr. Patel was saying, yesterday only, we were discussing about the Rubella vaccine vaccine and the varicella effects, how the vaccine, influenza vaccination, which many of us were not taking earlier and now started taking regularly and advising. So that's a very wonderful thing. And it's a really good initiative. Only thing I would like to say about one HPV vaccination, just a point that the age group we all doctors have to see. Many a times the patient of the 40 years and they come for HPV vaccination. So there we have to actually explain them the ideal time when it can be utilized. That's also very important. So otherwise they will not be getting the benefit. It is definitely a costly vaccine, but I hope, I'm very sure that sooner or later Foxy will take up into with the government these proposals, and these vaccinations will come into the protocol of the vaccination, and they will be available to the poor people also. That's just one point I would wish that our Foxy leaders and legends will take up to the higher platform. So once again, congratulations, Dr. Girja, for a wonderful talk, and all the best for your next endeavor.
Thanks, Siddharth.
Thank you, Dr. Kiran Pandey, madam, for your valuable time and inputs. Now it's time to dig into the individual vaccines. Our second talk is HPV vaccination, the need of the hour. And I would like to request Dr. Nidhi Mishra, madam, to introduce our guest speaker.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me, Dr. Priya?
Yes, ma'am.
So our next speaker is, will you please change the slide? It's good. Yeah, thank you. Our next speaker is Dr. Jyoti GS. She is MBBS, MD in Obstetrics and Gynecology, PG DMLE, FICOG and FIC MCH. She is a professor and unit chief, Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Ramaiah Medical College and Hospitals, Bangalore in India. She's the organizing committee member and coordinator of Preventive Oncology Workshop of AICOG 2019. She received a Limca Award for Nutrition Advice in Pregnancy organized by Zydus Nutriva in May 2020. She is a member of the Food, Drugs and Medico-Surgical Equipments and Gynec Oncology Committee, committees of Foxy from January 2018 till 2024. She's a lead assessor for the Manyata project on maternal and child health, lead resource person and expert for the Parivartan project of contraception, TOT trainer for PPIUCD project, master trainer for Foxy program Dhira Violence Against Women, executive committee member of Bangalore branch of IMSCON from 2016 to 22. She has been in the organizing committee, faculty, and speaker of several CMEs, symposia, workshops, conferences at international, national, and state levels. She has 37 publications, and she has authored a book and contributed chapters, and has special interest for high-risk pregnancy and preventive oncology. She's a life member of various professional bodies. She has participated in largest cervical cancer screening camp in August 2015, which was entered in the Guinness Book of World Records for doing maximum pap smears in one day. She's member and secretary of the State Motherhood and member of the Preventive Oncology Committee of KSOGA, that is Karnataka State Obstetrics and Gynecological Association. And she is a South Zone Executive Council member of ISCCP, an investigator in various national and international clinical trials. So I invite Dr. Jyoti GS to give her talk on vaccination, HPV vaccination, the need of the hour.
Yes, madam, it's visible. We can't see you, madam.
I think, madam, you are muted, madam. We can't hear you, madam.
Mute. Yes. I'm so sorry to waste your time.
So okay.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Am I okay now?
Yeah, full screen.
Yeah, I'll do the full screen. Yeah, like everyone, I would like to also start with COVID slide. I mean, all of us have been telling that thanks to COVID, and it has brought a huge awareness about prevention through vaccine. And this was a statistics which I took 2 days back. 181 crores of vaccination dosages have been given, and very historic. And the value of vaccination has made a huge difference in the life of the humanity itself. So we should know that HPV causes more than just cervical cancer. You can see on the right, the 3 cancers, female cancers, on the left, the 3 male cancers, and also the oral cancers, non-cancers, that is the anogenital warts and the respiratory papillomatosis. So when you see the global burden of HPV, you can see that 6,90,000 cases of HPV-related cancers are diagnosed in males and females around the world each year. These are all estimates taken from the register, and they could be lower than the true burden. And you can see here in color codes the female and the male cancers which it causes. And it is estimated to cause up to 4.5% of all new cancers worldwide. So why are we talking about cervical cancer and HPV vaccine? Because cervical cancer is totally preventable, but still more than 60,000 women lose their lives to cervical cancer in our country. And majority of them are 40 plus, very productive age group. And there's a lot of sufferings in the family because we have lost their lives. See this, the percentage of population immunized against cervical cancer is only less than 1%. And cervical cancer is the cause of 20%. It constitutes 20% of all the cancer deaths which are occurring in our country. And we do not have an organized screening program in our country. And it is so dismal screening rate, about 3.1%. And this is the reality. So we have to see how we can make the difference. This is the one which is stated by Gavi. You can see all these vaccinations, and then you can see this human papilloma virus vaccination also. And you can see that 1 death is averted per 50 vaccinated. So even I have done a vaccination campaign in our college for MBBS students for catch-up vaccination, and we have we vaccinated 3 years back only some 2,500 doses, and I can say that I have averted 50 deaths. That is what everybody should think of along these lines. These are the 14 oncogenic viruses. These are the 14 oncogenic viruses which are seen globally. And when you extrapolate and see, you just see this red line. When you see this red line, 90% of them are caused by the first 7, 16, 18, 45, 31, 33, 52, 58, which is present in the new HPV vaccine, that is the 9-valent vaccine. And the rest 10% is caused by 35, 59, 39, 56, 51, 68, 66 serotypes. So that's why we need even screening along with vaccination. So World Health Organization said we can eliminate cervical cancer through intensified vaccination against HPV, screening and treatment, and brought a vision that a world without cervical cancer, the goal is to get below 4 cases of cervical cancer per 100,000 women years by 2030. And the major target, the first target, 90 out of the 90, 70, 90, it is 90% of girls should be fully vaccinated with HPV vaccine by 15 years of age. Why we as OB-GYN should prioritize HPV vaccine? Because we see and treat patients, and we know the damage the cervical cancer can cause to the women and her family. And we have an opportunity to catch up HPV vaccine because we see women through various ages and complaints throughout their life. And India has a huge female population between 9 and 45 years. 367 million people who are eligible for HPV vaccine and less than 1% vaccinated. And our FOXI is recommending vaccination at various stages in their lives with relevant vaccines. So which are the segments in our clinical practice we have to focus? First, patients may come at very early, the perfect group, the naive group for puberty problems, puberty, menorrhagia, dysmenorrhea. We have to catch them and we have to tell them about HPV. Our patients may come with PCOD. We are seeing so many PCOD patients, and they are put on even oral contraceptives. And these people have 4 times higher risk of cervical cancer. You should concentrate on this segment. Postpartum HPV vaccine, we know, and I have done a project on this also. This is a very good catch-up, very good period to vaccinate and induced abortions. More than 2 abortions have 4.92 risk of cervical cancer. Harold Hauser has, in 2008, he got a Nobel Prize for showing that cervical cancer is caused by HPV virus. 99.9%. Later on, it was Ian Fraser who invented the virus-like particles which we are using in the HPV vaccine. He got a Nobel Prize, and Ian Fraser got the Australian of the Year award. We have the bivalent vaccine. Now which is not much, it is not in the market now. The quadrivalent vaccine, 6, 11, 16, and 18 serotypes, and the nonavalent vaccine, or the 9-valent vaccine, which contains the 7 serotypes, causing 90% coverage, and the non-cancer 6 and 11 strains. The quadrivalent vaccine, long-term study has been done, and a 14 years follow-up has been done through 16 to 23 years of age, and excellent efficacy, 100% against the primary and the secondary endpoint. And it is also done in the next age group, the Future 3 study in the mid-adult group till 45 years. And this has also shown, again, initially 1 to 4 years follow-up, and few were followed up till 10 years, showing 90 to 100% protection against cervical precancers and cancer, and precancers and other high-risk HPV positive women. And in postpartum, which we have seen in the study of Wright et al., 97% said vaccination during postpartum, 97% said they were very happy. And you can see that 80% of the women were reluctant to make a separate visit for HPV vaccination. Had we not counseled them during pregnancy and given postpartum, we would have lost these many women. So it is important that we should counsel pregnant women and give vaccination in the postpartum period if they have not received before. And we also know that HPV infection is more prevalent in males than females. That is, if out of 10, 6.5 men will take time to clear the infection. It takes a longer time in male than in female to clear the infection. And HPV prevalence among men is 26%. And in the cohort where their spouses were suffering from cervical cancer, HPV prevalence among the males were 66%. But the transmission per 1,000 persons from female to male is more. That is 12.3 per month versus 7.3 from male to female. So now we have this new HPV vaccine containing the 9 serotypes, which I have mentioned, available in India for boys, girls, and females, which protects against all these 6 cancers and 2 non-cancers, ranging from 86 to more than 95%. And we can see this real world effectiveness study done in Australia for this 9-valent vaccine. You can see reduction in the disease and cervical surgeries against certain diseases. And these women were negative for 14 HPV types at the initial recruitment of the study. And we know this dosage, all of us know 9 to 14 years, we are giving 0 to 6. And if we, at 6 months gap, if you give it earlier, you have to follow the 0, 2, and 6 months schedule. Or there is a critical, that sometimes what we did in our project was 014. That is, the second dose should be administered at least 1 month after the first dose, and the third dose should be administered at least 3 months of the second dose. And globally, boys and girls 9 to 15 years, 0 to 6 months, and 0 and 6 months, and men and women more than 15 years, 0 to 6 month dosage. Advisory Committee on Immunization and Practice said that 9-HPV can be used to complete the series, even if it is started with bivalent or quadrivalent vaccine. In India, Gardasil 9 vaccine is approved for boys 9 to 15 years and girls and females 9 to 26 years as 026 or 014. That is because studies have not been done beyond 26 years. Recently, the ACOG committee recommendation said all obstetricians are encouraged to stock the HPV vaccines in their office, and they have told that all the 13 to 26 years age group should be given HPV vaccine whenever as an opportunistic procedure, also when they come for some other consultation, regardless of sexual activity, prior exposure to HPV or sexual orientation. Even in between some 27 to 45 years of age also who are unvaccinated, gynecologists and other healthcare professionals should share clinical decision regarding HPV vaccination. No need to do a pregnancy test or a HPV DNA test, and it is not recommended during pregnancy, but the pregnancy test is not needed, and it can be given during breastfeeding. So target the 11 to 12, 13 to 26, and 27 to 45 years. If they are unvaccinated, the best group is of course 9 to 40. But all these professional bodies are recommending: World, European RCOG, Indian IAP, FOXI, API, ACIP. So what about you? Are you recommending? Let us ensure that HPV vaccination is given to all. Don't hesitate, counsel and vaccinate. The world suffers a lot, not because of the violence of the bad people, but because of the silence of the good people, as said by Napoleon. Our recommendation make a difference to girls and women. We should not miss an opportunity to protect themselves from a HPV-related cancer. Look at this, 62% of them said that doctors' strong recommendation as the reason for getting vaccinated for cervical cancer prevention. So that is the key to boost the uptake. Though the Canadian survey, when it was done, the HCP's perspective was it is very expensive. That is the problem. But they took the patient's perspective also. Only 80 to 20% said it was expensive. But the chunk of it, the 55% of unvaccinated women and men felt that if the physicians had told them strongly, motivated them, they would have got themselves vaccinated. So cost barrier is more of a physician's perception than a patient's barrier. Prioritize your HPV vaccination schedule in these segments of your clinical practice: puberty, PCOS, postpartum and induced abortion. And strong recommendation is all it takes to save girls or women from HPV diseases and cancers. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, madam, for a very elaborative talk.
Thank you.
Sangeeta Jogi madam is there. I can't see madam.
I think Sangeeta madam is not there.
So I will request Dr. Nidhi Mishra madam to sum up the talk.
Yeah.
Dr. Nidhi madam. I think she is also not there.
No problem. You can just conclude, Priya. I think we move on.
Madam, you have given a very elaborate talk. Thank you very, very much.
Wonderful insight. Wonderful insight into HPV, madam.
Thank you.
Everything about that, and we are still struggling at the periphery. Like we are in, we are C societies and we are in the periphery. We are still struggling with the cost. I started this awareness drive for HPV 1 year back, but till now I can give only 25 to 30 vaccines. They are not.
As far as rural India is concerned, I don't think that unless this vaccine is coming up in our national immunization program, it is not going to take up very well. That's very sure. And lots of even the gynecologists, obstetricians have doubt in their mind, you know, about its safety and all. That's why these awareness drives are so important. You know, many people will ask me, is there any side effect? We have heard that there will be a syncope and all that, you know, so all those misbeliefs are still there. So very good program and really nice, Dr. Jyoti, your talk was really elaborate.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, chairpersons. Thank you, speakers, for your valuable time and your insights. We have come to an end of first session, and let us move to the second session. For this, I would like to invite and introduce the chairpersons for the second session. Yeah. Our first chairperson is Dr. Jitendra Kumar Patel. Sir is consultant at Priya Hospital and IVF Center. Sir is the president. Sir is the president of Anand OBGY Society. I think it is missing here. And sir is having IVF practice since 2 years. Sir has attended many national and state conferences. Diploma. Sir has received Diploma of Ian Donald USG Fellowship at Dr. Jayaprakash Shah Foxy Training Center for Advanced Ultrasound. IVF Fellow from various institutes like Wings Hospital, 21st Century Hospital, and Shivani Scientific. Sir has attended several national and state conferences and delivered lectures at state conferences. I welcome you, sir. Next CV, please. Dr. Bharat Lanjewar, sir. Sir is from Bhandara. He is the president of Bhandara OBGY Society. He is practicing infertility and first test tube baby of Bhandara district. Congratulations, sir. And sir is a faculty for NDVH in state conference. I welcome you, sir. Dr. Kavita Gandhi, madam, president of our society of Chandrapur. Sir, madam is Foxy-led assessor to Lakshata Manyata Mission. Madam is associated with Manav Vikas government project since 15 years. She is the founder secretary of COGS. She is the past vice president of IMA Chandrapur and ex-senior gynecologist at Government Hospital Chandrapur. I welcome you, ma'am. Dr. Neeta Sata, madam. Madam is the organizing secretary of SOGOG 2019 Jamnagar. Madam is the president of Jamnagar OBGY Society. And madam is a recipient of Best Innovative Laparoscopic Surgery Technique Award in 2008. I welcome you, ma'am. For the first talk on preconception vaccination, I request Dr. Patel, sir, to introduce the speaker. Is Patel, sir, there? No. I think sir is not there. Is Bharat Lanjewar, sir, there?
Just check. Kavita madam is there?
Kavita madam, are you there?
Kavita madam is logged in.
Yeah, ma'am is there, but I don't know. We can't see.
Kavita ma'am?
Yeah. I think she is having net issues.
She's in traveling.
Yeah.
Neeta madam is there. I'll just check.
Hello.
Ha, ma'am. Yes. We can hear you, ma'am.
Yeah, I can hear you. I am audible.
Yes. Yes, Neeta ma'am is there. I can see Neeta madam. Ha, madam. Yes.
Neeta madam? Network issue, I think.
Should I go ahead, madam, with the CV?
Yeah, I think.
Hello.
Go ahead with the CV. Kavita madam, are you there? Neeta ma'am?
Yeah. Yes, I have joined.
Okay, Kavita madam. You can just introduce Dr. Manisha.
Yes, she's in travel. So maybe someone. Priya, you can introduce.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Madam is the West Zone Coordinator of Food Drug Medical Surgical Equipment Committee. Madam is the Secretary General of Hpv Chapter. She is a Chairperson, Women's Doctor Wing, IMA Chandrapur. And Madam is the Director of Santaji Mahila Nagrik Sehkari Bank. Madam has area of interest in laparoscopy, infertility, and colposcopy. And she's very good friend of mine, my senior, and she has supported me in my first year of tenure. Welcome, Dr. Manisha, ma'am.
I must say, very, very energetic, doing such
Yes,
a lot
ma'am.
of camps and such a lot of social work, Manisha.
Yes,
She's
yes,
always
thank you.
over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Priya, for that kind introduction. I will just share my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll just stop share. Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Yes. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Full screen, just make it.
I'm not getting full skin.
At the bottom, Manisha, at the bottom. Just go on the last, yeah, to the little to the right.
Again to the right. Again to the right.
More to the right.
Yes, this one.
No,
okay, this
no,
one?
not this one. Just move another two. Keep on moving to the right. Your opposite side, opposite side.
No, there is no. What has happened?
Pot-like thing made na for the full screen. Can you see that, Manisha?
Spotlight nahi na.
At the bottom.
At the bottom, jahan aap se na, just move to the, yeah, keep on moving to your right. Yeah, keep moving. Yeah, keep moving.
F5.
Okay, oh, just press F5.
F5 will do.
Okay.
Is it?
नहीं हो रहा है, पता नहीं क्या प्रॉब्लम है क्या आज सुबह से।
ऊपर के टास्क बार पे भी दिख रहा है ना स्लाइड शो, वहां पे जाओ।
Up, madam. Next to animation. Next to animation.
Okay.
Next to animation is slideshow.
Yes, but
वरती.
Up. Here. Up, madam.
नहीं, लेकिन ये पार्टिसिपेंट मेरा ऊपर ही जा रहा है ना ये सब, इसलिए तो let me one.
You can stop share and share again. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah. The freeze वाला है. I will stop sharing and I will.
It is frozen. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
You can start again.
Okay. Now.
Not okay. Okay. Now everything is seen well. Go on the taskbar. Up or taskbar. वरती जहा ना त्याच्या बाजूला आहे ना अॅनिमेशनच्या बाजूला इतकं वर कुठे खाली येतो.
अगं पण इथे नाही मॅडम, तिथे एक सेकंड नाही तर काय का प्रॉब्लेम येत आहे मला, कारण हे वर चालले गेलंय माझं जे पार्टिसिपेट आणि सिक्युरिटीचा आहे ना स्टॉप व्हिडिओ, दिस हॅज गॉन अप. आय डोंट नो व्हॉट हॅज हॅपन्ड.
ओके
Priya, can you do it for me? You are having my presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
I will stop sharing. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
One. I'm sorry.
No problem. Sometimes it happens, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. नहीं आज मेरा लैपटॉप दे ही रहा है प्रॉब्लम. I have shared my PPT with Priya.
Please allow me to
Okay.
share the screen.
Just a minute, Priya. I'll just make it.
Yes.
Yeah. Now it's okay. Yes. Jitendra sir is also there now.
Can you see?
Yes.
You can make it
right from the first side.
I can't see the bars now.
हाँ वही विश्व आ रहा है. I don't know क्यों मेरे बास नहीं दिख रहे थे.
Okay, then we can keep moving forward. We can all, it's all visible to us.
It's not visible, no?
It's visible to us. I think so, Rekha, it's visible. We can move.
Yeah.
We can
I
see
think
it
it is
properly.
readable. No problem. Just go ahead.
Yeah.
Manisha, instead of,
Yeah. Sure, I will go.
Don't be upset. We are able to see.
Yeah, we can see it clearly.
Yes. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Ritu Khanna for giving me this opportunity. A respected chairperson, the topic given to me for today for discussion is preconceptional vaccination.
What happened?
What has happened? The screen has gone. Okay, she has started. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Slideshow over kar Priya. Full screen. Go to slideshow. Yeah. Next slide. Next slide.
Yes. Just.
Next. Yes. We all know that many vaccine preventable diseases have serious consequences for the pregnant mothers and the fetus and also the neonates if not taken at proper time. It makes the immunization status of the women of reproductive age an important focal point for preconceptional care. Some immunization act by preventing congenital infections, while others by preventing perinatal transmission and preventing congenital diseases and also the morbidity and the mortality. These vaccines are recommended in preconceptional period as they cannot be given in the pregnancy. Next. Next slide, Priya, please. Yes. The first in the list is, we have just talked, Jyoti Madam has nicely elaborated the talk on Hpv vaccine and HPV. We will go, we will share it a little. Human papilloma virus and HPV vaccine. We all know HPV is the most common form of the STDs. It is the most common cause of cervical cancer, and the burden of this disease is still very high in our country. Recommendation is to begin vaccination in girls from the age of 11 years. Initiated at the age of 11, then 2 doses are given, 0, 6 to 12 months. A 3-dose schedule is recommended if initiated at the ages 15 to 45 years, and also for the immunocompromised patient, that is 0, 1 to 2 and 6 months. Next. Yeah. So HPV vaccine is not recommended for the use during pregnancy. So it is to be counseled to the patient to complete her vaccination schedule for HPV before planning for the pregnancy. Although HPV vaccines have not been linked to cause any adverse effect to the developing fetus, but still the sufficient studies and data and trials are not done, and the trials are not yet conducted for the same. If the patient is found to be pregnant after starting the HPV vaccine series, further doses should be delayed till she delivers. But we should always take this window of opportunities of preconception counseling to motivate the patient to take this vaccine. Next. Next in the list is Rubella vaccine. We all know Rubella vaccine is not to be taken during pregnancy, but it is always to be taken in preconception period, and pregnancy should be delayed by 1 to 2 months after taking the vaccine. It should be counseled to the patient to take this vaccine if she has not taken, to avoid any congenital defects and stillbirths also. The most common congenital defects included congenital cataract, congenital heart diseases, deafness, low birth weight, and stillbirth. Next. The next in the list is Varicella vaccine. Varicella infection, it is also one of the most common cause for harming the fetus during the pregnancy. It can cause various congenital birth defects and stillbirth also. As it is a live vaccine, it is to be given in preconceptional period, and after taking the vaccine, at least the pregnancy should be avoided for further 4 weeks. Next. The COVID vaccine, the most hot topic of Today, we are facing the pandemic of COVID, and the recommendations have come that everyone should get immunized with COVID vaccine so as to get protection from the severity of the disease. Counseling of the patient to complete her COVID vaccination schedule in the preconception period is also very important and should be emphasized to the patient very much. However, now the recommendations are to give it even to the pregnant patient. So we should always counsel whenever the patient comes for pre-counseling or for the preconception period, we always advise and emphasize her to complete her COVID vaccination. Next, hepatitis vaccine. For preconceptional counseling, as a part of it, always consider hepatitis vaccination, mainly the hepatitis B, because hepatitis in pregnancy can lead to preterm labor, premature rupture of membranes, intrauterine growth retardation, placental abruption, and also the increased risk of perinatal morbidity and mortality of the patient also. Hepatitis B infection, we all know, can also lead to cirrhosis of liver and hepatocellular carcinoma. So motivation for taking this vaccination is always to be done whenever the patient comes for counseling. Next. About the influenza vaccine, our next speaker, Dr. Kalpana, will be talking in detail. It is also recommended for women planning the pregnancy. Also, the pneumococcal vaccine, particularly in the smokers, has to be advised. And the meningococcal vaccine in the endemic area, we advise the patient to complete her doses. Next. So, to summarize, always check the vaccination card of the patient if available, or taking the proper history of her vaccination, mainly for hepatitis B, measles, mumps, rubella, varicella, COVID. And at least ask her to complete the above listed vaccine before she plans for pregnancy to avoid the complications. Thank you for the patient hearing.
Thank you, Dr. Manisha ma'am, for enlightening us on the preconception vaccination topic.
Yeah, I think Dr. Kavita madam is there. Kavita madam? Kavita ma'am? Yeah. Madam.
Just join.
Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah. Stop sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. Yeah, Ritu, ma'am.
Hello.
Yeah.
Over to you, Kavita madam.
To summarize.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Already Manisha is so expert in everything. She's the gem of my society, and she has covered the topic very nicely. And as we all know, prevention is better than cure. We should follow the rules, regulations, guidelines given by FOXI for vaccination. So thank you, ma'am, for giving me a chance to join with you, and all the best for your elections.
Thank you, Kavita madam. Thank you for your blessings and wishes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Our next talk is influenza vaccination in pregnancy. I think I have to introduce Dr. Kalpana Gulwade madam. Next CV, please. Dr. Kalpana madam is from our own society. Madam is practicing since 21 years. She was the secretary COGS in 2004. She was the vice president of COGS. Madam is very active and she is in emergency obstetrics. I welcome you, ma'am, for your talk on influenza vaccination in pregnancy. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Priya. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. At the outset, let me thank the Food and Drug Committee, and especially Dr. Ritu Khanna, who has so thoughtfully put up this topic of immunization in pregnancy and vaccination in pregnancy. I would like to share screen with your permission.
Yeah.
I hope it's visible.
Only just make it full screen.
Just a minute. It's already full screen, I think.
No, ma'am.
The laptops are giving a lot of trouble nowadays, I think, because of the overload on them. Yeah.
No
just
problem. You can
I'll
go
do it
ahead.
once
You
more.
can just see the slides. No problem at all.
Yeah, okay. With all my regards to the chairpersons and to everybody here, I, Dr. Kalpana Gulwade, bring my regards from the very hot city of Chandrapur. I talk on flu vaccines in pregnancy, that is influenza vaccine in pregnancy, and what we need to know, what I think some of us know and some of us don't. So we would just like to revamp our knowledge in that respect. Now, human influenza is a contagious respiratory illness caused by influenza virus. It is characterized by fever, often high, cough, body aches, headaches, malaise, and rhinitis. It's a yearly winter epidemic.
Your slides are not moving, dear.
Is it? Okay, it's moving here for me.
I know, we are just seeing your CV slide.
Is it? Yeah, I'll get back. I'll get back. Beta slide move nahi ho rahi hai.
आपको
फुल स्क्रीन भी करना कल्पना.
हाँ,
किया था full
करके मेरे ख्याल से फिर से
पता नहीं
करना.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it again. I'll stop share again. Yeah, I'm stop sharing now and I'll go back to the share again. Is it visible now? Is something visible now, Sureka?
Yes, yes.
It is visible, but you are not on full screen. If you can
Full
do
screen.
Is it on full screen? Just a minute. I'll put it on full screen. Is it on full screen now?
No, it is not. I don't know what's happening.
What's
happening?
But
Yes.
still,
Not
but
it?
still, if you can go to the next slide, then we are able to see.
Yeah, maybe.
Presently, we
maybe.
are seeing human
Maybe.
influenza.
Okay.
Then you can just go
Yeah,
to the
I think
next slide.
I'll scroll to the next slide as well. So
Right.
we'll do it that way. It's me. Just a minute. Yeah. So this was it. What we need to know and what we don't know in pregnancy about influenza. Yeah.
Maybe
Is this visible? Is this visible?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So we were on human influenza, which is a contagious respiratory illness. I think I've gone through that, which has some sporadic events, or it can be even an unpredictable pandemic. Now, the signs and symptoms caused by the influenza virus, caused by the group of RNA viruses, influenza A, B, and C, with leading to symptoms like sore throat, fever, and cough. And the rate of serious illness and hospitalization is increased 4 to 5-fold during pregnancy. Pregnant women who get the flu are at higher risk of hospitalization and even death. Is there a problem? Hello, am I audible? Yeah.
Yeah, not a problem.
So severe illness during pregnancy can also be dangerous to the developing baby because it increases the chance of significant problems such as premature labor and delivery. Now we have this very fancy structure which we have been seeing for the past 2 years, something typical similar to the RNA coronavirus. The strains available in the influenza are the type A, B, and C, like I already said, the type A being the major causative of moderate to severe illness. It affects all age groups, humans and other animals also. The type B being the responsible for the less rapid and milder epidemics, and it affects only human beings. Now, the WHO has devised this very fancy name for the influenza virus, which has different parts to it. And we often see this without understanding. The first part being the letter, the type of the isolate could be either A or B. The second part being the geographical location where it was isolated. The 59 number being the laboratory identification number. So 2007 being the year of isolation, and the H1N1 stands for influenza A viruses, the subtype of HA and NA. So in future, if we see this type of a structure, now we know what it means. Now, the evolution of influenza viruses and corresponding evolution of influenza vaccines dates back to as early as 1933. where there was a bivalent vaccine which developed into a trivalent vaccine in the 1978. And further, the need for a quadrivalent vaccine came up in 2013. So as per the pharmacology, which we have been studying over the years, immunization, either passive or active, is the need of the hour. All but the live viral or live bacterial vaccines are generally considered safe during pregnancy. An inadvertent immunization with a live vaccine during pregnancy, I think we need to mute somebody.
Jyoti madam, please mute
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah, thank you.
So the inadvertent immunization with a live vaccine during pregnancy is definitely not an indication for pregnancy termination. Live vaccines, of course, should not be administered during pregnancy until the potential risks are outweighed by clear benefits. And a woman immunized by a non-pregnant woman immunized with a live vaccine should be told to delay pregnancy by at least a month. Now, there are some regulatory bodies like the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, which has guidelines from the CDC in the US and also the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology. In India, we have our own FOXI. The ACOG guidelines for vaccination in pregnancy is the number one. It is before pregnancy, during pregnancy, and after pregnancy. It is a yes for the influenza vaccine, the type of vaccine being the inactivated one. ACOG recommends administration of the tetravalent inactivated influenza vaccine to pregnant women during the influenza season. It is important for pregnant women in the third trimester or who have infants under the age of 6 months during the influenza season to take this vaccine. As we have seen, the live attenuated vaccine is not advised. So the highest priority being given to the pregnant women. Priority in no particular order is also given to children aged 6 to 59 months, elderlies, and individuals with specific chronic medical conditions, and of course, healthcare workers for their increased susceptibility to the infection. So basically, it is for those people who are immunocompromised. So a CDC flu fact says that the flu vaccine does not cause flu illness. The virus in the vaccines are inactivated, that is killed, and it cannot cause an infection. So we need to counsel the patient that this is best for your baby, best for you, and be updated on the flu shot. What does it do? About 2 weeks after the vaccination of influenza, the mother develops antibodies to influenza and a whooping cough. These antibodies enter the placenta and transfer to the baby. Baby is born with antibodies that provide protection against influenza and whooping cough for the first few months of life. Infants are at an increased risk of severe flu symptoms, but a vaccine cannot be given until the baby is 6 months old. So naturally, these antibodies derived from the mother developed from the flu shot during pregnancy pass through the placenta and breast milk in a breastfed baby and is helpful to reduce the incidence of laboratory confirmed influenza in infants up to 6 months of age by about 63%. And it reduces the febrile influenza-like illnesses by approximately a third in both young infants and mother. The FOXI also reiterates that apart from the TT, Tdap, and influenza has to be given in an inactivated form to all pregnant women from 26 weeks of pregnancy or earlier during an influenza pandemic. And of course, also to the adult and elderly women, apart from the HPV, TD, and influenza vaccine, which we have been hearing by the previous speakers. There came the need for a quadrivalent vaccine as the fourth viral vaccine, which was not added in the previous trivalent vaccine, played havoc and had some disastrous results in the 2009 pandemic. Hence, the pandemic, hence after that, the quadrivalent vaccine was devised and used. And it is a seasonal influenza vaccine, which was earlier trivalent, is now tetravalent. The pros being decreased mortality and morbidity causes, and of course, the cons being new efficacy trials were being needed. So the overall concept of development of quadrivalent vaccine is a definite positive approach. Now, when do we give this vaccine if a patient asks us? Based on the start of primary influenza activity, the countries have been assigned to two categories. Either where the primary activity starts after October, and countries where the primary influenza activity starts after April. In India, it is said to be given only prior to April because it is effective in those countries where the multiple peaks and residual all-round activity is prevalent. So according to time zones, India comes in the April time zone, which is to be given in the time where they expect a peak in the influenza activity. So that is what we saw at the end of October and December before flea circulation, the vaccine should be given. Since it takes about 2 weeks for the immunity to response to develop, we need to give it well in time so that the patient and her baby is protected. And importantly, as antibody levels likely to reduce in subsequent seasons, there may be changes in circulating strains from one season to the next, and annual revaccination is also important. So it is not only in pregnancy, it is also in immunocompromised people like HIV, asplenia, persistent complement deficiencies, kidney failures, end-stage renal diseases, patients on hemodialysis, heart or lung diseases, and chronic alcoholism, or with any chronic diseases like diabetes, liver disease, or even some homogamous men. Of course, with any vaccination, we expect adverse effects, and we have to counsel the patients regarding this. The graph shows the pain and headache, fever, nausea, vomiting, but these are all very mild symptoms compared to the benefits of the vaccine. So with that, I come to the end of my presentation, and thank you so much for a patient listening.
Thank you, Dr. Kalpana Madam, for a very crisp and informative session. Moving ahead, our next talk is on Tdap vaccine in pregnancy by Dr. Surekha Tayade Madam. Madam is professor at JNMC Savangi, Wardha Hospital. She is the chairman, Global Women's Health Task Force, founding member and vice chairwoman in Health Together for the Future. She is a national mentor, quality improvement at Lakshita program, master trainer, emergency obstetrics care, critical care in obstetrics and maternal near miss. She is the expert committee member, national guidelines for obstetric HDU, ICU, and national guidelines for maternal near miss. She is a co-leader, maternal near miss project, national and state rollover. She is a co-leader, maternal death at audit project, quality assurance at national and state level. So quality control madam ke paas hai. Madam has many publications to her credit, and floor is yours, madam.
Thank you, dear Priya, for those wonderful words. I know you have a lot of affection for me, and that is why you have all those affectionate words for me. Thank you so very much. And at the outset, I would like to thank my very dear friend, Dr. Ritu Khanna. And it is so nice to see you, and so nice to see your collaboration with all the societies, Sagar, Chandrapur, Devi, Savangi, and Anand, Jamnagar, Bhandara, and Bilaspur. So my respects to all the office bearers and the chairpersons of today's session. Dr.
So much, Surekha. Always a pleasure to have you. Always a pleasure.
Am I audible well?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So respects to the chairpersons, Dr. Bharat Lanjewar sir, Dr. Patel, and then Dr. Kavita Gandhi and Dr. Neeta Seta. So I hope my my presentation is
visible.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And we go ahead. I am very much conscious of the time given to me, that is 10 minutes, and I will stick to my time. So Tdap vaccination during pregnancy to prevent neonatal pertussis, that is my talk. Greetings from my medical college, which is Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College, where we have a wonderful virtual simulation lab, and the SimMom, as you can see here, where we teach, train, and not only doctors, but also peripheral health workers. And we have a lot of these beautiful high fidelity mannequins here. And I present before you myself as your candidate for the clinical research committee as a teacher trainer since 20 years and an avid researcher. I present my candidature before you. So the flow of this presentation is I will be talking about pertussis transmission and burden, need and ideal time of the maternal immunization of Tdap, Tdap formulation, the safety, immunogenicity, vaccine effectiveness data, global and national recommendation, and summary of my talk will be presented. Now, how is pertussis transmitted and why it is important that we talk of pertussis? Pertussis, as we know, is the whooping cough, highly communicable respiratory infection. It is bacterial, caused by Bordetella pertussis, and it is airborne. So airborne droplets or direct contact with the nasopharyngeal discharges from an infected person. So as you know, the transmission being airborne, the infectivity is quite high. So how contagious is it? If you look at this data here, if in an immune naive population, one primary case of pertussis can cause 12 to 17 new cases. That means it is quite the high infectivity. In fact, more than COVID, the basic reproduction actually is similar to measles and more than influenza actually. So that is why we have to be careful because the infectivity is quite high, more than influenza, mumps, polio, rubella, and smallpox also. So as you see, the infectivity is high. And if you look at the infection, when the infection is caught by a neonate, then in more than 90% of infants under 2 months of age with pertussis, they will require hospitalization, and 75% of the pertussis related deaths occur in infants under 2 months of age. So that's very important. And the complications which we see of these early neonates are they can have in 15 to 25% of times pneumonia, 2 to 4% seizures, and 0.5 to 1% of times there could be encephalopathy. So, thus there is a high recommendations for the Tdap vaccination or Hpv vaccination. As you can see, the IAP recommends that the vaccine has to be given in the pregnant mother. However, during the birth, after the first dose of TTP is, the next dose comes at 6 weeks, then 10 weeks, and 12 weeks. Can you just give me 1 minute? I need to open my,
Yeah, sure.
So as you know, it's time for people to come home. So just a minute. Okay. So this is regarding the what time the DTP vaccinations are given, and infants are actually not protected during the first 2 months of life, and that is where the maternal immunization actually comes to be very important, and that's what our presentation is today about. Because the mothers are the most common source of pertussis to the newborns. As you can see here, 37.3% of times it is the mother who will give the infection to the infant. Then 17.6% of time it will be the father, sibling in 26% of time, grandparent in 4.2, and others in 4.9. So now when you talk of these all persons who can be providing the infection to the infant, then we have to talk about what could be our strategies to prevent or protect the young ones from getting pertussis. So this is called as the cocooning effect. Actually, when we say cocooning, all the people around the infant who are likely to give the infection to the infant are supposed to be vaccinated. So that's called as the cocooning effect. So the strategy one is adolescent and adult booster vaccinations. So that is one. And as I've talked to you, if 1 and 2 both are vaccinated, so people around the child and more, sort of what we call as the herd immunity, if it is there, then the cocooning effect will be there. However, the maternal immunization strategy is the one which is the highly effective, because the mother is the one who is going to stay mostly around the infant. So what is effective, what is feasible, is the efficacy is high, is the maternal vaccination or maternal immunization, which we are now going to talk about. So how do we vaccinate, and when do we give the primary vaccination to the mother? The objective is, of course, to boost the maternal antibodies, which will actively transport it through the placenta and providing passive immunity to the neonate before he gets his first vaccine. As I have already said, the first dose to the neonatal will come at 6 weeks. So in that meanwhile, that period of 6 weeks is there, wherein the placental transfer of antibodies from mother will act as protection to the neonate. So largest amount get transferred in the 3rd trimester. That's why, when the recommendation is there that you have to give the vaccine from 26 weeks to 37 weeks, because the largest amount of transfer of the antibodies occur in the 3rd trimester. So let us look at the formulation. You will have the Tdap, in which the T is the tetanus, the diphtheria toxoid, which is more than 2 international units. Tetanus is more than 20 international units. The PT 8 micrograms. So that is what it is. It is the 3 and AP is what? The acellular pertussis. We also know that when it is WP, it is whole, and when it is AP, it is acellular. So in this adult formulation, we have the acellular pertussis. So that is the formulation. The administration, it should be during the 3rd trimester of pregnancy, and the Tdap is considered to be quite safe, with no vaccine, with very minimal vaccine-related adverse side effects, and actually no side effects on the pregnancy or the health of the fetus or the newborn in the 2nd and the 3rd trimester. So various studies on safety of the Tdap also have been conducted. This is the US study, wherein 1,229 women who received Tdap vaccination more than once in consecutive pregnancies were studied, and they found that the Tdap does not lead to excessive pregnancy-related morbidity, even with repeated dosing. This is a very large study, wherein 12.58 lakh doses of Tdap vaccines were administered since the strategy started in 2012. Since then, 12 lakh or more, and they did not find any serious side effect. In New Zealand, the study was carried out on 8,178 women from 28 to 38 weeks of gestation, did not find there was any adverse outcome. So it considered to be quite safe and very effective. As you can see in this study from UK, with the dose which was administered between 27 to 36 weeks, and the vaccine efficacy was seen 88% against pertussis. In Spain, 91%, Australia, 69%. So this is how efficacy is quite high of this vaccine, and thus when we are talking of the recommendations of various bodies like ACOG, WHO, they are all recommending that Tdap vaccination should be given to the pregnant woman as early as 27 weeks and can be given up to 36 weeks also. And it is considered to be most cost-effective additional strategy for preventing disease in the infants. And RCOG also recommends that it should be given quite early, from 16 to 32 weeks. However, the most of the recommendations are saying from 27 to 36 weeks. And even FOXI has this guideline, 2016 guidelines, that Tdap vaccine provides optimal protection to the baby in the first month of its life. 1 dose of Tdap vaccine to pregnant women or the adult cell during each pregnancy. So let's remember that word, each pregnancy. So subsequent pregnancies also the Tdap vaccine has to be given. So now we are coming to these recommendations. Now, as you can see, almost 40 countries are recommending Tdap vaccination, including India. In India, IAP is recommending, however, it has not yet come in our national immunization program. So let us now know why it is not, though it is recommended so much, maybe in the private practice, some amount of uptake is there, but high uptake is still not there of Tdap. One is because there may not be an awareness. Second is the cost, because each vial is costing around 1,000 rupees, and some safety concerns people have in their mind, though the safety and efficacy has been proven in literature, and of course lack of knowledge about the target disease, and quite a lot of time, if there is no recommendation from the doctors, the healthcare workers, then probably the uptake is a problem. So herein comes the importance of vaccination awareness. So our recommendation actually matter most as far as vaccination in pregnancy is concerned, to our in spite of the cost maybe, and we have to work towards getting this Tdap incorporated in the national immunization program also. The burden of pertussis in neonates is significantly under-recognized. That is the reason Tdap has not come into uptake so much. And Tdap offers 3-in-1 protection, that is diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis. Foxy GCPR does recommend that administration during pregnancy in order to provide protection. Global and local bodies strongly recommend Tdap vaccination, and these are all of us are influencers for vaccination, so we have to work towards this uptake. Adverse events are, like injection site redness, swelling, pain, malaise, or fatigue or headache. These are certain adverse effects, which come up with any of the vaccine. Even if we are tetanus toxoid, we are going to get. So this, I don't think so. There are huge adverse effect, moderate or mild pain will be there, redness will be there, some amount of fever, only in 2% of cases. So we have to really remember that the protection, the benefits are quite high as compared to the simple adverse reaction with the vaccine. So now these are some common questions. Can the, sorry, where did I go? Can Tdap vaccine be recommended to pregnant women who have received PT vaccine in the same pregnancy? So this question is there. It is recommended actually. This is a study done in Thai pregnant women where the Tdap was given between 26 to 36 weeks, and there was no adverse side effects or severity, and it is considered to be effective, so can be given. That's the recommendation. Then another question is, can Tdap vaccine be co-administered with flu vaccine? Yes, it can be administered. There is a retrospective study done on 36,844 women where this were administered together and concomitantly in pregnancy, sequentially also, and no statistically significant increased risk of fever or any other adverse effect was found. So Tdap and flu can be co-administered. Is Tdap vaccine recommended during every pregnancy? That's very important. Each and every, these are the 2 words which we have to remember. So there was a review of critical data, and data indicated that maternal antibodies from Tdap vaccine that are generated during one pregnancy are insufficient to provide protection during the subsequent pregnancy. Hence, ACIP, that is the pediatric, as well as the ACOG, that is the obstetrician organization, both recommend that all pregnant women should receive single dose of Tdap vaccine during each pregnancy, regardless of the interval since the last tetanus toxoid containing booster, preferably during the 27 to 36 weeks of gestation. So that is the recommendation, and I hope that all of us are following it. As far as India is concerned, as far as our local geographical area is concerned, rural areas and public institutes are considered, still the Tdap vaccination uptake is quite less, just because of probably the awareness one, and second is the cost, and thirdly, it has not yet come into our national immunization program, though IAP and FOXI are both recommending it. So I think all of us have to work on it so that it can be provided to our pregnant women free of cost, and the neonates can get the benefit. So again, I thank you very much, and again, I request you to kindly vote for me for Chairperson of Clinical Research Committee, FOXI. Thank you very much for your patient listening.
Thank you, Dr. Surekha, madam. Beautifully presented. It's a treat to listen to you always. Very crisp, though touching all the points. Yesterday, Dr. Ritu Khanna madam has released one vaccination awareness questionnaire. Madam has answered the answer for that question. Tdap has to be given in each pregnancy.
Right.
And it is to be given in third pregnancy in 27 to 36 weeks. Thank you very much, Dr. Surekha ma'am.
Thank you, Priya.
Our next speaker is Dr. Sunita Mahesh madam, and madam is speaking on other vaccines in pregnancy.
हाथ कैसा हो रहा है सर समझाओ.
Yes. Madam is a senior consultant at MFM and medical director at Milan, the Fertility and Birthing Center, Bangalore. Madam is the executive committee member of Bangalore OBGY Society. She is the executive committee member of SMFM. And Madam has an interest in high-risk ART pregnancy and management of recurrent pregnancy loss. I welcome you, ma'am, and screen is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Priya. I'll share my screen. I hope I'll not have problem. Yeah.
Dr. Reena, madam, please mute yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to talk on other vaccines in pregnancy. This vaccine awareness drive for women's health, this initiative by the Food and Drug Medico-Surgical Equipment Committee of FOXI has actually opened up the arena of responsibilities of all of us. I'm sure that all of you will agree to it. As obstetricians and gynecologists, we should routinely assess our pregnant patients' vaccination status, and we should recommend and whenever possible, administer the needed vaccines to our pregnant mothers. So what are these vaccine preventable diseases? So they are defined as those diseases for which we have a recommended vaccine and the recommended schedule, and they prevent the development of those diseases. The national immunization recommendations currently target around 17 vaccine preventable diseases across the lifespan of a person. And of them, like we have heard for to Tdap, the human papilloma viruses, and also the influenza viruses. Apart from that, there are other small diseases or the other diseases for which vaccines are also available, like the pneumococcal, meningococcal, hepatitis B, A, Japanese encephalitis, and all that. So what we have already understood is about the types of vaccines. We know there are live attenuated vaccines where it contains disease-causing pathogens, but however, it is of low virulence strain and does not cause the overt human disease, but however, it stimulates an adequate human immune response. But the only thing is, like, we are not able to give those vaccines in pregnancy because of the theoretical risk of perinatal infection, which results in congenital disease. The vaccines which are safe are the inactivated or the killed vaccines, which is caused by inactivating the pathogen using heat or chemicals. These vaccines, these pathogens lose their ability to replicate. They do not result in a clinical infection, and they maintain their ability to generate an adequate human immune response. But however, the problem is that the antibody levels wanes away over the time, and it requires multiple dosing, booster dosing, or both. Then there are subunit vaccines, which contains fragments of the antigenic proteins, which are actually modified by genetic engineering to give the protective immune response. Then there are conjugate vaccines where we have a portion of the bacterial coat, which is chemically bound to the pieces of the recombinant vaccines. So the bacterial components do not cause the infection and they require the carrier protein to stimulate the immune response. Now we have understood with all the lectures that vaccines are recommended during pregnancy because it's a simple and cost-effective strategy to reduce the vaccine preventable diseases, and pregnancy is an immunocompromised state. It increases the risk of the serious problems associated with these diseases, and there is an added benefit because immunization can directly protect the fetus and the infant by the transferred antibodies from the mother to the fetus. However, we know that most of the vaccines which are available for most of the vaccine preventable diseases are live attenuated vaccines which are contraindicated, which includes measles, mumps, rubella, varicella, meningococcal, HPV, pneumococcal, polysaccharide vaccine, oral polio, inactivated polio, typhoid, cholera, plague, Japanese encephalitis. We just go through some of the diseases for which we can provide the vaccines. One of them is hepatitis B. It's a DNA virus. It causes the liver infection, and in pregnancy it can increase the chance of preterm birth, and it is also known to increase the abortion rates, stillbirths, and the congenital malformation. The biggest concern is about the vertical transmission from the mother to the child, as 70 to 90% of the babies can remain chronically infected. Not only that, it can produce the liver cirrhosis and hepatocellular carcinoma in the adult life of these children. So vaccines are required. And hepatitis B vaccine has a seroconversion of 90 to 100% in preventing hepatitis B infection. So it is quite safe and efficacious. And the vaccine is an inactivated recombinant virus vaccine, and it is composed of non-infectious hepatitis B surface antigen particles. It does not cause increased risk. But however, we should only offer it for people who are at high risk for developing hepatitis B. And we should never forget the management in pregnancy. We should make sure that the infant receives the hepatitis B immunoglobulin within 12 hours after birth, and there is no known risk which exists for the fetus from the passive immunization of the pregnant women with immunoglobulin preparation. So it means that if the woman has been infected and if we give immunoglobulin to the mother, the fetus also gets the added benefit. Hepatitis A virus is an RNA picornavirus, and the vaccines are derived from the diploid cell cultures, and it is an inactivated vaccine. Safety has not yet been determined there, but the theoretical risks of the vaccination should always be weighed against the risk of hepatitis A infection. And if the pregnant woman is exposed to hepatitis A infection, immunoglobulin is also recommended because it is more than 85% effective in preventing the acute hepatitis infection. Measles, mumps, rubella, we have heard about it. They cause the severe infection in the pregnancy, and the vaccine is once again not recommended for the pregnant woman. And if the woman has to be vaccinated, we should tell her that she should avoid pregnancy. This is a pre-pregnancy period, and the consequences of the infection during the pregnancy, if in case the woman has been inadvertently given the vaccine, we should not recommend termination if the woman has received the vaccination, because there is no reported evidence of congenital rubella syndrome after an unintentional first trimester vaccination. We should always include rubella screening for rubella immunity in the pre-pregnancy period. And as always, as already been stated, breastfeeding is not a contraindication. When it comes to the varicella, the virus causes pruritic rash, and in pregnancy it is associated to cause congenital varicella syndrome, and it occurs in about 1 to 2% of the patients with maternal varicella infection, with the increased risk of occurrence from 13 to 20 weeks of gestation. The vaccine 2-dose regimen is given as a childhood vaccination schedule. It is contraindicated in pregnancy because it's a live attenuated formulation, and as like rubella vaccination, if the woman has inadvertently taken the varicella vaccination, we need not have to ask her to undergo termination. The recommendation says that preconceptionally it has to be given, and if there is a documented exposure, we should counsel the patient about the risk of the congenital varicella syndrome. Then antivirals can be given for the actual disease, and who are or suspected to be a susceptible patient for varicella zoster virus infection, they should receive the vaccine postpartum, the first one to be given immediately. Pneumococcal disease is caused by streptococcal pneumonia, and there are two vaccines which are available: 23 serotype polysaccharide vaccine, which is recommended, and there is insufficient evidence to support routine administration of this pneumococcal vaccine. 13 or the PPSV, that is the surface vaccine, 23 during the polysaccharide vaccine, 23 during the pregnancy. And women who have medical risk factors or immunodeficiency state should definitely be recommended. Meningococcal diseases is caused by the bacterium Neisseria meningococcal, and there are two effective vaccines which are available: MCV4, that is a conjugate vaccine, and the polysaccharide vaccine 4. As of now, we do not have studies which state that these vaccines are safely to be given for pregnant mothers, but who are at high risk, we should vaccinate them with MC4, that is the conjugated vaccine 4. Then systematic review documented no association of maternal meningococcal surface polysaccharide vaccine 4 and teratogenesis spontaneous abortion, but because of the lack of safety data, the MC4 is the recommended one for pregnant women. There are travel vaccines, that is like now travels have opened up post-COVID, and pregnant women without risk factors can travel. There are several vaccines which are available for individuals who have to travel. There are 3 travel-related vaccine preventable diseases, that is yellow fever, Japanese encephalitis, and typhoid fever. When it comes to yellow fever, it is a live attenuated vaccine, but it is recommended for individuals planning to travel. And despite the theoretical risk of the live attenuation vaccine, it is the only vaccine which is an exception to give during the pregnant mothers who are traveling to high risk areas or endemic areas. And for Japanese encephalitis, there are no adequate studies of the vaccine during the pregnancy. Because of this, the CDC has not made it as a specific recommendation on the use of this vaccine during pregnancy. But if they are traveling to endemic areas and longer duration of travel, the theoretical risk of immunization outweighs the risk of infection, then we need to give them the vaccine. Typhoid fever caused by Salmonella typhi, there are 2 vaccines which are currently available, and one is live attenuated oral vaccine and a polysaccharide vaccine. Both are acceptable, but there is no sufficient data supporting the efficacy of vaccine in pregnancy. Then zoonotic preventable diseases. The vaccine preventable diseases, one is anthracis. There is a anthrax vaccine absorbed which is available. Then pre-exposure AVA is not recommended during the pregnancy, but post-exposure prophylaxis is recommended and should be administered if there is an anthrax exposure. Polio, we know that oral polio vaccines are available, including the Hpv, but it has been widely used to protect the pregnant women. But in spite of all that, we do not recommend as a routine vaccination, but where mass immunization programs have been done, where thousands of pregnant women, especially in Finland in 1984, where there was an outbreak of polio virus epidemic, mass immunization failed to show any association with maternal immunization and with the oral polio vaccine and the congenital anomalies or the adverse pregnancy outcome. So we can give it only when there is an epidemic. And if pregnant woman is at increased risk of exposure and requires immediate protection against polio, Hpv can be given in accordance to the recommended schedule. Rabies, this is one thing which one can come across while because of dog bite in pregnant women, the contact with saliva or the central nervous tissue of the affected animals can result in this rabies infection with the rhabdovirus. And there are 2 inactivated rabies vaccines which are available. There is no association between maternal rabies vaccination and spontaneous abortion, teratogenesis, or preterm birth. So we need to give post-exposure prophylaxis with this vaccine, and human rabies immunoglobulin should be administered to any pregnant woman after moderate or high risk exposure to rabies. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, if the risk of exposure is considered to be high, only then we need to give vaccination. Then there are 2 vaccines which are under research, that is the Group B streptococcal vaccine and the respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. Group B streptococcal vaccine could be more effective to prevent both early and late onset disease. These are yet to come as the 2 more vaccine preventable diseases. Then none of the talks can be completed without the recommendation for COVID-19. We have to give the pregnant mothers the mRNA-based vaccinations. There is no influence on the gestation, childbirth, or the perinatal mortality with vaccination. The mild symptoms are temporary. And we all know that the immunity levels increases after booster dose. They are effective in reducing the severity of COVID-19 vaccination, and they are considered to be safe options. In conclusion, vaccination is a vital preventive measure in routine obstetric care, and it serves to protect the mother, fetus, and the infant. And inactivated vaccines are safe for use during pregnancy, but specific studies or data on use during the pregnancy is limited for most of the vaccines. This is in summary about the vaccines which are recommended for all pregnant women: influenza, tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis, which is recommended for postpartum women or in the preconceptional period, MMR, varicella, and which is recommended for high-risk women, hepatitis A, B, pneumococcal, meningococcal, yellow fever, Japanese encephalitis, typhoid, anthrax, and rabies. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Sunita Madam, for a very excellent talk on other vaccines in pregnancy.
Thank you.
What I can conclude is that from this talk, if one misses the vaccines in preconception period, whether to give that vaccine in pregnancy or not, like hepatitis B, if there is a risk to the patient, we can go with the vaccines.
Yes.
Live vaccines are contraindicated in pregnancy. Inactivated vaccines we can give. And if the patient has received some vaccine, we have to counsel the patient in that situation. Counseling is very important. And most of the time, we don't have to terminate the pregnancy.
Yes, 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 Dr. Priya.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And now we have come to an end to the second session. Thank you all the speakers for enlightening us and all the chairpersons for chairing the session. Let us move to the session number 3, which is going to be lively interaction between the expert panelists on vaccination in women, current scenario and challenging situation, with a great moderator. We have multifaceted personality to moderate the session, none other than Dr. Ritu Khanna Madam.
Thank you so much, Priya. Thank you so much.
Okay. You have skipped your slide, ma'am.
Yeah,
okay.
I think
first panelist is
yeah.
Yes, ma'am, you don't need any introduction now. Our first panelist is Dr. Aparna Devekar. She's MBBS DGO. She's from Chandrapur. She's consultant OBGY and ex-medical officer at government hospital. I welcome Dr. Aparna. Next is Dr. Manoj Aglave. He is the secretary of Bhandara OBGY Society and ex-assistant professor of IGMC Nagpur. Welcome, Dr. Manoj. Dr. Dhaval Patel, sir, will
not joining us.
No, not joining us.
Okay, fine.
Dr. Neeta Rana, she is the secretary of Jamnagar OBGY Society. I think she is also not there. We have to confirm.
Okay.
Dr. Priyanka Tiwari, she is the secretary of Sagar OBGY Society. And she has attended many state level and national level conferences, and she has special interest in gynec surgery and high risk pregnancy. Welcome, Dr. Priyanka. Dr. Kavita Babbar, she is the secretary of Bilaspur. I think she's also not there today.
Okay, fine. We'll go fast through our questions.
Yeah.
Jaya is there.
Yeah, Dr. Jaya is the secretary of Bhandara OBGY Society. Oh, sorry. She's from JNMC, Savungi, with Dr. Surekha Daira, madam. She's a secretary. Yeah, over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, Priya. And we'll go a little fast also. I think we've cleared so many things and we've got still little challenging situations. And I think we have the discussion forum with all the society into us and Aparna, Dr. Manoj, Dr. Dhaval, Dr. Neeta, Priyanka. I think some could join us and some couldn't join us. But yes, we have great panelists to have on this forum. So if I go fast, then we have Mrs. X, 25 years old, who's married for 1 year, comes for a preconception counseling, and she's planning to conceive in the next 3 months, 3 to 6 months. We'll have very short, crisp answers. Aparna, what do you think we really need to dig into specific history counseling for immunization?
Ma'am, we should be actually asking for recent, if there is any history of recent immunization and some recent history of any illness or fever, if such. And we should be also asking for any history of vaccination like hepatitis, HPV, Tdap, COVID, or even MMR or influenza, so as to counsel her preconceptionally as regarding the pregnancy.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And Dr. Manoj, would you like to advise for a rubella IgG prior to the vaccinations?
Considering the cost of the vaccine and considering the cost of the rubella IgG, I'm not going to advise the rubella IgG test before vaccination.
Thank you so much. Do we have Dr. Jitendra with us? Dr. Jitendra, are you there? Okay. So Dr. Manoj, again, you can take, what would you like to use? You use rubella or you use an MMR?
The rubella is a cytotoxic virus. It causes mainly the anomalies in the fetus. So rather than giving the MMR vaccine, I will like to prefer the rubella vaccine only.
Okay, but you would like to give a much more protection with the MMRs? No.
No,
I think
just rubella is sufficient.
Aparna, what would you like to give?
I think, ma'am, I would go for the MMR vaccine because it would give a better protection against 3 diseases to the preconceptional, I mean, to the lady
Dr.
who's
Jaya,
planning
are
to
you
conceive.
there? Dr. Jaya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so what is your opinion?
Second opinion of Aparna, ma'am. I would prefer to give MMR vaccine.
I think we are going in for the MMR vaccines now. And now if she took, if you are there, Jaya, or if she took MMR and became pregnant in the 2nd month, should she terminate this pregnancy?
Ma'am, actually, we should tell her the consequences of MMR vaccine. If she is ready for MTP, then we can give. But it is, we can ask her to continue pregnancy as well.
Yes.
The counseling becomes important.
Risk is very true. Risk is largely theoretical.
Should write in the notes also.
Yes, vaccine should not undergo termination and she shouldn't get pregnant for the next 28 days. That's been advised. So do you routinely ask about the history of childhood measles or chicken pox? Or and if there is no history, do you vaccinate? Priyanka is there. Priyanka, are you there?
No, ma'am, she's not there.
So no problem. We have the 3 panelists, so we can just go ahead. Anybody can take up this question. Aparna?
Yes,
Ma'am, actually, we don't actually, I mean, I am not that specifically into asking history of childhood measles unless there is any history regarding recent history or if the patient is forthcoming regarding that. So
Dr. Manoj, would you vaccinate if there is no history?
Rubella, if there is no history of the rubella infection or measles, mumps, in chicken pox,
Chickenpox.
so preconceptionally it is advisable.
Yes. So because there's a lot of risk in the 1st, 2nd trimester and perinatal vaccines also. So yes, we could go in for this vaccination. So Jaya, what about HPV vaccination in a preconception period? And do you give an HPV DNA testing before giving an HPV vaccine?
Ma'am, in small towns, I'm working in small town, we generally don't do HPV DNA testing before HPV vaccination. But yeah, sure, we counsel patients for HPV vaccination preconception. Because once he conceives, then it's better to delay the scheduled dose.
Okay. Do you do an HPV DNA testing before every HPV vaccine? No, I
Not
think my
necessary.
panelists would agree. Yes.
No, yes,
we do not do it. We do not do it. And we just vaccinate. So these were all the pre-pregnancy, preconception vaccines, which Dr. Manisha took it so very well. And so now, Dr. Jaya, again to you, how would you manage 3 doses if she becomes pregnant prior to completing the schedule?
it's an inactive virus, we can give, but if she has taken 1 or 2 doses before conception, then we should delay the third one or the second one till the conception period is over. And as Dr. Manisha ma'am has rightly said, we should consult the patient and encourage to take it postpartum.
Yes, very true. So we come to the vaccines, and which are contraindicated, Dr. Aparna?
Yes, ma'am. The vaccines which are contraindicated in pregnancy would be the live attenuated vaccines, which would be like the MMR, the varicella, or the influenza, HPV, BCG, the polio, oral as well as the IPV, the cholera, Haemophilus influenza type B, the zoster vaccine, even the typhoid, smallpox, plague, and pneumococcal and meningococcal, as rightly explained by the previous speaker. And for yellow fever and Japanese encephalitis, if they are at all traveling to endemic areas, and of course the anthrax one.
Yes, so very true. And today's message: recommended for all influenza, Tdap, allowed during pregnancy in certain circumstances and not recommended. So we just classify them into all these. So it is generally believed that flu is self-limiting and complications in pregnancy are not common. Is it true, Dr. Manoj?
Flu is a self-limiting, but considering the pregnancy status, the lethality of the flu is high, and we should recommend the flu vaccine in each and every pregnant
And
patient.
what are the benefits in short we could go?
The immunity can be passed to the fetus and newborn.
Yes.
And he can be or she can be prevented from that.
Yes. And the pregnant women, yes, they are the highest priority group. So they need to be vaccinated, of course. And you said definitely benefit to the mother, boosts her immune response. And of course, it's going to decrease the preterm low birth weight babies also. And so what is the ideal time to administer influenza vaccine, and what are the recommendations for the same? Anybody can take it up, Dr. Jaya?
In pregnancy, we can give in early pregnancy also. We should give 1 dose of influenza.
Yeah. So I think it should occur before the onset of any activity into the community, but really we do not know. We could give it, you're very true, during any time during pregnancy, but yes, practically we give it after the first trimester. So that's very, very correct. Flu strains change frequently. Which vaccine should I choose for patient, and what factors guide my selection? Aparna, would you like to take this?
Ma'am, as explained by Dr. Kalpana madam, the H1N1 vaccine which we are recommending is to be taken. Which should be given in India, as they said, it should be given in April. So about it should be a quadrivalent vaccine which should be recommended for the influenza.
So we have all these inactivated recombinant, and also we usually give because we give the trivalent and the quadrivalent, because quadrivalent has got a wider coverage. As you said, yes, we give this of influenza B. So now, Dr. Manoj, can influenza vaccine be co-administered with other vaccines?
Yes, influenza vaccine can be co-administered safely with the other vaccines like Tdap.
Right. So we have recommendations. Yes, we could go in for these vaccines also. So we come to the Tdap vaccine. Now this 30 years old Gravida 2 Para 1 had an LSCS 4 years back, comes back at 30 weeks of gestation and requests for a Tdap. She's already received 2 doses of TT in the first pregnancy and 2 doses of TT at 4 or 6 months in this pregnancy. Now, back to you again, Dr. Manoj. Can you give Tdap after 2 doses of TT?
Yes, Tdap can be given after 2 doses of TT. So it is going to protect from the Osula or Pertussis infection and diphtheria pernicious to the neonate.
Right, very correct. So we have all safety data that yes, we could still give Tdap after even 2 doses of TT could be recommended. So now, Dr. Aparna, TD, TT, TD, Tdap, which one and when?
Ma'am, Tdap definitely, because it will provide a wider coverage for 3 different.
When she comes early to you, you would like to give what? TT, Tdap, TD or Tdap?
Ma'am, ideally I would wait for her completing the 27 week to give Tdap. But if at all there is any exposure to some risk behavior, high risk behavior or if there are any wounds or if such things, then I can give either TT or TD.
Right. So Jaya, when she comes early, do nowadays you give TT or TD?
Ma'am, actually TT is no more recommended. TD is in the universal immunization schedule, so we give it. But after 27 to 36 weeks, we will again give Tdap.
Yes, so very true, TD1, and then 4 weeks after, and then you give a booster if pregnancy occurs within 3 years of the last pregnancy and 2 TD doses received then. Now, if she received Tdap in the previous pregnancies 3 years ago, does she need to take it again if she presents at 26 weeks with 1 dose of TT taken?
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Aparna?
Yes, ma'am. She should take Tdap.
Yes. So irrespective of the patient's prior history, she should receive 1 dose of Tdap.
Tdap.
So what is the preferred time, Dr. Manoj, to give Tdap? Is it 27, 26 weeks, and why is it so?
It is given at the after 26 weeks of gestation.
Yes.
And it is not given in the first trimester, considering
What's the reason that we give it so?
effect.
Yes. So I think because of the maximum transfer of the antibodies to the fetus, which occurs at this, if you look at this 5 to 10%, 50% at the weeks 28 to 32 weeks. So that is the time that majority of the IgG is required in the last 4 weeks of the pregnancy. So there goes the support into the answer. And if she is an unbooked case and comes to you in labor and she has not received a Tdap, can we still give her any Tdap?
No use. If she is in labor, there is no use of giving Tdap, because at least it will take 4 weeks to form the IgG antibodies in the mother to safely transfer to the baby.
Yes. So the preferred time, and yes, now we move to Dr. Jaya. The preferred time of a Tdap is 27 weeks, you say. And are there any situations when we can give them earlier?
Yes, ma'am. We can give it after 16 weeks also if there is any pertussis outbreak or any wound care is required. Then definitely we can give her in early pregnancy as well.
Correct. So any wound management if required, if there's unknown or incomplete tetanus vaccination, or Tdap could replace 1 dose of TD. Now, if she is vaccinated early in her pregnancy, does she need to be vaccinated again during 27 to 36 weeks, Dr. Aparna?
Yes, ma'am.
Already received because of certain special situations. She took a Tdap.
Okay.
So does she need to be given it again?
No, ma'am. Tdap is single dose, so we don't need to give Tdap again.
So if, as Jaya mentioned, in certain situations, if you need to give them earlier in pregnancy, she does not need to repeat the dose of Tdap. So we come to the other vaccines. A young physician calls you at 8 o'clock in the evening, and she is 6 weeks pregnant and has her dog bite 10 minutes back. She is advised anti-rabies vaccination, but she's so much worried to take it during organogenesis and she really wants to avoid it. So how do you counsel her? And if she takes a vaccine of anti-rabies, is it an indication for MTP? So Dr. Manoj, if you would like to take this.
Rabies is the dead end disease. So considering the lives of the women, the vaccination is very essential after the rabbit dog bite or any dog bite.
Yeah.
And it is a live attenuated vaccine, so the termination is not needed and it doesn't have any phytopathic effect.
Right. So thank you so much. If the risks outweigh the benefits, it's an indication. And yes, she could take this vaccination too, anti-rabies vaccine. Now, next is, are there any other situations where other vaccines like hepatitis A, hepatitis B, or yellow fever may need to be taken in pregnancy? And if so, what are the recommendations for their use? Anybody can take it up. Dr. Jaya?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, hepatitis B and A, these are, even though they are not active, live attenuated vaccines, but we can give it if there are chances that patient is coming in contact with the high risk cases, then definitely we can give it. Yellow fever and anthrax, these are live viruses. If the patient is going in endemic zones, so if the risk benefits outweighs the risk, then we can definitely give yellow fever and anthrax as well.
Yes. So that's very, very true. And we have the postpartum vaccines. Which vaccines could you give postpartum and what are the recommendations? So I think we need not go into the details. This is a whole list of the postpartum vaccines that could be taken and already been discussed. So the practical schedule is first set of vaccines as soon, more than 12 weeks as possible. If TD, if not available, then you give a TT. Influenza vaccine is given. The second vaccination more than 27 weeks. Tdap, if not available or feasible, TD or TT. In case influenza vaccine has not been given earlier, it can be given with Tdap. Both influenza and Tdap can be given in the postpartum period. So any of all the three panelists, one line, what are the challenges and the barriers you face while vaccinating these pregnant women? Dr. Manoj.
Sorry, madam, please repeat the question.
Any challenges which you face while vaccinating these women?
The social taboos are there.
Yes.
Then if there are
so
any
many myths about this vaccination.
Yeah. So by mistake, if your lucks are bad, in that case, the patient may have the misabortion, so she will blame the vaccination.
Yes. Any bleeding, any fever, anything, cough also, she'll say it is because of that. Very true, Dr. Jaya.
And cost.
Yes, cost effectiveness is also very important.
Yes, so we have so many challenges. We're going through this, and you very, very truly elaborated. Yes, we have so many challenges. She will just refuse. I won't take them. And any potential exposures, we need to counsel them for that. Misconceptions, as Dr. Manoj said, Aparna and Jaya said, cost. There is a fear of litigation. There's lack of knowledge about guidelines, and none are the pregnancy category A. So all these considerations, and I think we had cleared certain doubts which were left about with my expert panelists who were there, though I took you a little faster because we had to end up the session also. But I think we are in with vaccination as a strong move towards women's health. So thank you so much to Dr. Jaya, Dr. Manoj, Dr. Aparna for having this
Thank you, madam.
last round.
So much, ma'am.
Excellent discussion, Dr. Ritu, along with the panelists. Congratulations to all of you for such a nice practical point presentation, which will be helping us in our day-to-day practice when we are practicing in our.
Dr. So I think we can just over to Priya for the session. I think
someone has raised the hand, Ritu. I think we are
I think Dr. Pramila was there. Dr. Pramila, do you want to say something? Dr. Pramila? Maybe by mistake. Okay then, Dr. Priya, we can just close up the session.
Can I have?
Yeah.
Can I go?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Just 1 minute. Yes, let me talk. I would like to congratulate all of you for such a nice webinar, and I will take this opportunity to seek your support, blessings, and vote for FOXI Committee Chairperson for No to Violence Against Women Committee. So please support me for the same. I request to all of you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All the best wishes, Manisha. All the best wishes. Girja ma'am, all the best wishes.
Yes, Priya, you can proceed, please.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Proceeding to vote of thanks. It's my privilege to be rendering the vote of thanks today. We, the entire FOXI committee member and chairperson, Dr. Ritu Khanna madam, are immensely thankful to FOXI president, Dr. S. Shanta Kumari madam, Secretary General, Dr. Madhuri Patel madam, for sparing their valuable time and gracing the occasion and blessing us. We are so thankful and extend our gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. Christina Gupta sir, special guest, Dr. Meera Agnihotri madam, Dr. Rajendra Singh Pardesi sir, Dr. Lakshmi Shikhande madam, Dr. MC Patel sir, for sharing their pulse of wisdom from the vast ocean of knowledge and enlightening us. This event wouldn't have been successful without the aspirational endeavor of Dr. Ritu Khanna madam. Thank you, madam, for your constant mentorship, for encouraging us and giving us this opportunity. I thank all the chairpersons, speakers, expert panelists for sharing their views from enormous experiences, their valuable inputs and crisp take-home messages. My special thanks to all the president and secretary of societies, Sagar, Chandrapur, Jamnagar, Anand, Bhandara, Bilaspur and Devli Savangi. Without their cooperation and enthusiasm, this webinar could not have taken place. I extend my thanks to my co-host, Dr. Manisha Ghate madam. I thank the network partner FOXI technical team for the seamless technical support. No session is successful without its delegate, without their participation. Thank you all for sparing the time and joining us. Hope to meet you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Priya.
you.
My special thanks to energetic and very, very courteous coordinators, Dr.
Yes.
Manisha Gate and Dr. Priya. Fluently executed the whole program, and you took us so very smoothly. And I think we covered a lot of amount of the
Yes.
vaccinations today. Jyoti Madam, thank you so much also for the deliberation. Girja Madam, thank you so much. And also a lot of thanks to all the delegates and committee members of our food and drug who've always been helping hand, giving us at just a one go and making this a great academic session. And also we are thankful to the Foxy team to give us this platform and for such a flawless conduction of this webinar. And I think everything was so well taken up, and all our best wishes to Girja Madam, Dr. Manisha Gate, Dr. Kiran Pandey Madam, and we have Dr. Surekha. So all the best wishes for all your endeavors in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
okay, goodbye till we meet.
Goodbye. Good night.
Thank you. Good night, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hope to meet you.
Bye. 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 Please take care.
Yeah.